views for some of these videos. Hello and welcome to the regular Sunday edition of Spurs Diehards TTID, Tottenham Till I Die. Got an excellent panel for you as usual, guys, well-informed guests, and we will be talking about the game, unfortunately, and we'll be talking about transfers. More news has broke today. We'll take questions from the chat, obviously, as well. I'm sure we'll have enough to talk about. So, Harry, you're back from holiday. How'd it go?
Yeah, all good, thank you. Yeah, I'm still creating content of that, but it was nice. Change of scenery rather than look at the same walls, as they say. But yeah, no, all good. But yeah, Spurs obviously making it challenging as usual, but all okay here, and feeling good, refreshed, ready to go.
Is that a tan or is it rust?
I'll let you decide. Thank you for having me.
That's okay. Jack's back, making another appearance on the show. How are you?
Not too bad. Well, I'd be much better if we actually could win in the Premier League, apart from just beating Charlton in an FA Cup game. But apart from that, I am perfectly fine. Ready to absolutely slate the team, in all fairness, and to be quite blunt about it.
Fair enough. And Ryan, a regular Sunday guest, how are you? You muted, mate?
He's on mute.
I'm all good.
All right, okay. All right. Okay, let's get now. I'm going to start with you, Ryan. Right? You was at the game. Was you at the game, Harry?
Yes, I was at the game. Yeah.
Oh, 3 mugs here then. Jack, was you at the game?
I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Wise man, the wisest panelist, right? Okay, right.
I wouldn't call me wise. I'll tell you that for free.
Ryan, none of us expected this lineup, did we?
We didn't expect Porro, did we? Porro at right wing was a bit of a shock. But nobody expected Savic. Jokes aside, yeah. My dad joke is they need to fix the carpet on the entrance to Hotspur Way because it seems to catch every single newcomer out, right? And those jokes aside, there's what is going on? He plays 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and he then has muscle fatigue and can't play in the game where we actually need him. So that was really the only surprise for me was Porro for Savio. A lot of people have been calling for Fernandes in the 10. I won't get into it, but I'm not a fan. We can get into that. Well, what, do you want me to get into it?
Yeah, you can do. Because I'll do the synopsis after we've discussed the game. You can if you want, but if you don't want it doesn't matter.
I just don't know what the lineup is you've got for the show. I think not playing. I think players need to be played in their positions. And we need to not go, we've got a hole there and we're going to fill it by moving a player who's very, very good in this position into that hole and then backfill the hole. I think this is a massive mistake. I was saying it before when everyone was going, oh, we should play Fernandes in the 10. And I was like, I don't want to see Fernandes in the 10. I want to see Fernandes in the double pivot with Tonali. And the sooner that they get up to speed in, playing together, playing in front of presumably Van de Ven and Van Heck, and gelling with whoever else we've got, going on around them. Yes, it's a bit flexible, but at least get, his main partnership sorted and the main interaction, which is going to be from the centre backs. And no, we play him in 10 and we put Bentancur back. I don't think it's a massive problem, but for me, it is an indicator of the way that we as a football club have approached squad building. So we've now got Archie Gray, who is a central midfielder filling in at right back on a regular basis. We've got Pedro Porro, our World Cup winning Spanish right fullback, playing right wing. And don't get me wrong, he didn't do a terrible job, but he is a World Cup winning right fullback. And we are going, you're not going to play there. You're going to play in a different position because we've got a problem. This has to stop. I would prefer players to play in their main position, and then if we've got a hole, don't fill it with the next best player. Fill it with somebody who isn't already in the first 11.
Harry,
that's what I would do.
Harry, your take on the lineup? I mean, Savio not being there was the biggest surprise to everyone. We all expected him to be there.
Yeah. Tottenham cast continues, doesn't it, when it comes to players with injuries? And I saw it in the morning and I just thought purely that it was either false rumours or I thought, here we go. Just people mucking around because this happens far too often to be true. So for it to be true is extremely frustrating, but reassuring that he himself has certainly hinted and deserves explicitly saying, he'll be back for the next game. Good to see Marmoush, though, from the start. What would have been interesting to know, and I guess we'll never know, right? If Savio was available, would Marmoush have started? He probably would have still started, but you don't know. For me, it was a Marmoush. I was thinking I can see him coming on from the bench, but when Savio's out, there is no choice. You don't want two players out of position or anything like that. But yeah, you're right. As Rain rightly said, I think the shock was seeing Porro a right wing. I think it was a poor decision at the time. When you look back, it's even worse. But for me, what's even worse about it is that it wasn't changed at halftime. I know it's easy for me to sit here and say that, but I think we can see it was wrong. I think the game, we were okay at that point. I guess maybe that's why he didn't change it. But second half for me, Newcastle come out a lot better, another gear or two, and we looked worse. I hate to say it. And while they were clinical and we still dominated, etc. For me, I just look back and gone, if that had been made at half time, I don't think we would have been in that situation. It just didn't work at all for me, and that's quite clear the further we progressed through the match. So, yeah, definitely not the team I would have predicted or wanted, but it's just frustrating, Adrian, sitting here because I personally saw more patterns of play. I saw more structure. I saw more of a team than we did against Brentford. And while that's an incredibly low bar, I do think we saw signs for me that are showing that, okay, so what De Zerbi's building or we're moving in the right direction. But what's frustrating is that the media and even us as Spurs fans were only focused that we lost 2-0 rather than Newcastle extremely clinical. Avoidable goals, nonetheless. That's very good. I'd be very clear on that. But I just think the scoreline is not a true reflection of the game. And it's easy to go, Tottenham conceded 5 goals, haven't scored any, 2 defeats, rather than going, this is an improvement on Brentford. We're not quite there yet. We should be there. We're not. That's the reality, De Zerbi said. But I thought we were better in this game. And I looked at that and thought, that's just so frustrating and so Tottenham, if you like, to be caught on the counter twice and not being able to take an opportunity. Like Marmoush, I thought was exceptional, but by the same token, when 2 big opportunities fell to him, he couldn't take it. Even though it was good for the rest of the game, we just couldn't take those final chances. So that final end product, that final third play, letting us down once again, I think.
Jack, your take on the lineup? I mean, it's probably similar to all of us, really.
I'm just going to put it bluntly. What the fuck is this lineup that I'm looking at? I'm not being funny, right? If Savio has muscle fatigue, and I get it why he has muscle fatigue, he hasn't played for God knows how long for Man City. He's been sat on the bench most of the time. So he's going to have that muscle fatigue, not only in training, but also in playing the match that he did at Charlton. If we have to play someone else in his position just to fill the gap, move Marmoush down to where Porro is, put Porro in his natural position and put Solanke on the pitch. Like we didn't take Richarlison because of the admits that he wants to leave. And now there's a possibility he's going back to Everton, and we're going to be moving across to Njai. Now we're going to have Savio, someone in the middle, and then probably Njai and Marmoush up front at this point. And then Richarlison will go and Solanke back up for Marmoush. But the way that he filled it with putting Porro right wing and putting Archie Graham right back, I think I've said this on Harry's podcast, God knows how many times. Stop putting Gray right back. Stop putting him centre back. I've seen it for the last 2 years. Like, I don't want to be seeing this again. It's the reason why we should not have sold Jed Spence in the first place. Because now we have to deal with a centre mid playing right back and a right back playing right wing. Like he won the World Cup playing right back. He didn't win the World Cup playing right wing. He won it playing right back. That's where he is. That's where he is the best at his game, and that's where he should stay. And the next point I'm going to make is, why in the fuck because he scored a free kick in pre-season against Auckland, did he decide to take another free kick and completely sky it? Because now everyone is saying that it was worse than Gabriel's penalty kick in the UCL final, and that it's now they've both sort of collided with each other and been shot down in the Strait of Hormuz.
Well, Jack, a parrot on that ball was shot down over the Strait of Hormuz, right?
That's exactly what. Yeah, exactly right.
Jack, sorry to cut across you. If you don't mind me just saying very, very quickly, someone next to me said, I could just see Tel slipping over. He said, just been his luck and our luck, and then he literally slipped over.
Because so the fun thing about it is, the fun thing about it is when the free kick was in that position, I had a small feeling that whoever was going to take it might have slipped over, because Fernandes slipped there twice in the first half. Right. Yeah. Now I don't know what boots Fernandes was wearing, but he needs to get some SGs instead of some ultra terrain for these boots on, because he was slipping all about the place. Like Steven Gerrard in one of his final games for Liverpool, slipping over and then conceding the goal straight afterwards. That's what I was watching. But putting Fernandes as a 10, I'd rather see Fernandes and Tonali in the exact same position in that bit where Bentancur was, and either move Bentancur into that middle bit or stick on Bergvall, who can play in that position. Don't put a defensive midfielder in the attacking midfield position, because I'm not even Fernandes was moving to where Tonali was, and they were sort of playing like a free on the defensive. And I see Fernandes pinging some balls over to Porro, and then even in the second half, he pinged one over to Mikey Moore as well, which is what we know that he can do. So that's why he's better in the position where he should be playing, which is where Bentancur was in the starting lineup. I think Van de Ven had a bit of a bad game, first game back in his armband. He did make a decent challenge in the first half to not obviously concede a goal in the straight way. He did get a yellow card for lashing out. It's what's going to happen.
From a bad Tonali pass.
Exactly.
And he got it in the 3 minutes. So then you think, well, what is that going to take off his game?
Exactly. But what I will say is first half stats were good, which there were much better stats in this first half than it was against Brentford, because we were 2-0 down by the point of the half time. And then the second half, we just switched off. I don't understand what happened in the second half or what was said in the second half, but you go from having 8 shots and 4 on target to then having another 9 shots, but 2 on target. And the fact that my app says that Newcastle only had 1 big chance is because that goal from Wissa was just an absolute fluke. And Kinski somehow managed to sort of move the wrong way to his right, and then the ball's sort of gone over to his left when he's running towards it. I had a small feeling when I was watching it back saying Kinski should have moved off his line earlier, so he could have counteracted that ball and gotten there. But it's very hard for him to anticipate someone's just going to kick it over the top of his head, like Paulinho did most of last season. Right, it's very hard to predict when someone's going to have an overhead kick. But no, the lineup was fucking weird when I saw it. But look, I was happy with Marmoush starting because I want to see him starting. We need a player like him to be able to move the ball around like he did. But it was just unfortunate that he couldn't finish the chances that he had. But and the second thing is it's also good to see Kudos back playing in colours on a pitch. That's what I'm happy with, because we need someone with his flair on that right wing to then put Porro back in his regular place, and then move Gray out of that right back position, never to see him there again.
Okay, we're going to come to Rain next, but first, as Rain brought this up, muscle fatigue is a temporary condition defined as an exercise-induced decrease of muscles' ability to produce maximum force of power. Right? It's just rest, really, basically. Right. Subs. I did a footnote to this, Rain, because lots of things are brewing. These are the subs. It's this decent bench, which is going to get strengthened.
It's better than having Luca Williams-Barnett, on the bench, and it'll be better when
no Richie on there.
it'll be better with no Richie. But is that a good thing, right? Because we need to score goals, basically, right? We need to score goals. Getting in Jai, is gonna help this. When you look at this bench, it's okay. I still look at Dubravka and think they pulled the gun too quickly on getting getting Dubravka across the line. He added to our non-homegrown list, and it meant that we basically handcuffed ourselves to not be able to get a better goalkeeper in if they became available. And is backup goalkeeper really a problem? Would it really have been a problem if we'd just had Austin and kept Gunter? Would it really have? I don't think it would have stopped Gunter's development. He can just stay in the under-21s. I just think that was a problem that didn't need to be solved. But then you look at the rest of the bench. Actually, it's starting to look. The depth is starting to look, good. When you look at defence, okay, we've got Senesi, your doggy, right back's a problem. In central midfield, we've got, we've got Gallagher there, but really Archie Gray should be another one. But this right back is really becoming a problem with the squad. It's jamming up the. It's like, do you remember I used to get these toys at Christmas where you had like these little tiles and one of the slots, it was like a 3x3, and one of the slots was like a little plastic thing, and one of the slots was empty, and you had to move the things around to make a picture. And with Archie Gray, now effectively our second right back, it's kind of bunged everything up. It's hard. He can't move things around properly. Archie Dorrington.
Alfie.
Alfie Dorrington. Sorry.
Won the Scottish Cup with Aberdeen. Ball playing centre back. Moves into midfield. He's good on the ball. And so I've only put him here in case Danso goes. Danso knows his fourth choice centre back now, doesn't he? That's the thing. So he wants out. Well, if you don't want to play for my football club, get out. That's my opinion.
I don't agree. We
fair enough. That's what you're here for.
Strongly about this.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't agree. We can come to that. More going out on loan. I'm not really fussed.
Now that Ndai is coming, I think he will.
I'm not fussed. I think Moore can stay at the club, and I think he will get minutes. I honestly do. And quite frankly, I'd have preferred Moore in the 10 at the weekend than Fernandes. And I'm just going to reiterate for anybody that's only because I think our players, it's going to be a tough ride the next, this season.
Well,
and our players need to get up to speed with their positions and their relationships as quickly as possible. You do that by playing there. Yeah. I'm
a big fan of Moore. I mean, I've watched his career, so I'm a big fan of his. I mean, there's a lot of Spurs fans haven't seen him. I've seen him play 40, 50, 60 games, maybe more. I don't know, in his rise. And for young England sides as well. And against Charlton, obviously, when Savio came on the right, which he's been playing in pre-season for Man City, Moore went over to the left, where he likes to be anyway, or in the 10, you know. So he went over to the left, and he was just as good, you know. All right, it was Charlton, fair enough, I get that. But he can only do what he do in the games that he's picked to play. Harry, your take on the subs?
I thought they were right at the time, but, you know, you look back now and they had no impact, and a lot of people will say they're wrong, but I felt it was right, but maybe should have come earlier, which is the point I made before in terms of just that change in terms of moving Porro, you know, taking Gray off. I think that just had to come earlier. Again, I do fully back De Zerbi. Anyone listening that maybe tuning in at this point thinking Harry's throwing De Zerbi under the bus, quite the opposite. For me, it's about time and patience now. But on this in particular game, I do think he and we as a team got it completely wrong in many different ways, as spoken about by the boys already, in terms of whether it be Fernandes, his position, Porro's position, Gray's position. I just don't think it's right. Square pegs and round holes, we've seen a lot in the last couple of years, particularly last year, and it felt like this. It really did, and that's the only frustrating thing for me. The subs felt fine, to be honest, Adrian. They felt the right thing. Like Kudus, I think it was right that we saw him again. It's easy to ask now, but could he have come on earlier and all this type of thing. But the subs felt right, but no impact on the game. I think the truth is when Newcastle got ahead, they were in that prime position where they could sit back and be lethal on the counter, right? Even if you don't rate them, I hope people could acknowledge that Alanga is deadly on the counter-attack, even if you could agree with it's just the pace, Wissa, right? Look what Thomas Frank got out of him, dare I say it, on this podcast, but where Frank was at his best was at Brentford, and Wissa was a driving factor in getting his team from the mid-table in the Championship to the Premier League in the first place, and then a sustained, reliable, credible Premier League club. Wissa was key on the counter for that, along with Tony, of course, but Wissa played a very big part. The point is, Newcastle are in that great position where there's solid defensively, but because we don't have that typical number 9, everything in the air they win. Botman's winning everything, Chow's winning everything. I just think we just didn't stand a chance unless the ball was on the floor. And got Kudus coming on, beautiful delivery, and there's no one in there that is back themselves to win a header. It's incredibly frustrating that it just didn't quite fit. But Adrian, I know you haven't asked me about it, but I'm not worried. I think it is about patience. I'm worried if we haven't won in 8 games. I'm not worried at this moment. I always go bold with my predictions, but I think we still will be in Europe come the end of the year. I just think it's going to take longer than we'd like. It's very easy, isn't it? The easy part of the rebuild is to have all these new signings, to see this rule change, but the hardest part is to give it the time to work. And I think that's what we need to do now. I know it's not ideal, but I think we do have to be patient.
The bench is only going to get stronger, Jack, isn't it? And if we get the players back fit that can play, like Decky, Maddison, Savio, and Dye, all right, you can't pick a bench with all attacking players, but it shows you that would give us. We then we've got a team that can compete, you know.
Yeah, I think it will just. I think when we have like our players coming back, and when we have like better looking players on the bench, I think it will prove what De Zerbi is doing at that stage. But at this moment in time, it's very hit and miss. He's come into a club which is still injury driven and broken in a sense. 2 years of staying 17th and 1 year being in a relegation battle through that, and him helping us survive. And now he's trying to rebuild this entire team. And mainly, not only do we need players in every position, so we could also have rotations and backup players. We still need people to be able to score goals, and Marmoush can definitely bring that to the club. I feel like Ndai will be able to bring that to the club. Savio has already brought it twice against Charlton, but again, it's against Charlton. It's not in the Premier League yet. We haven't seen him in the Premier League, so we're still waiting for that. Kudus is able to score goals. Xavi Simons can score goals, and Maddison is able to provide the necessary assists to be able to create these goals. So we're still missing a lot of play. And Kulusevski can do it as well. He's good at bringing the ball in and be able to just shoot from multiple places and be able to score. I just don't know if when Kulusevski comes back off his injury and he's actually ready to get onto a pitch in Medical's eyes and De Zerbi's eyes, is going to be that same Kulusevski that we have seen before his injury. I'm not 100% sure for how long he's been out. But the only thing I'm seeing is I know it's not all about the money, but how have we spent all of this? And people are still saying that this is still a broken team after spending 400 million. It's going to take more. It's not broken because it still hasn't really been mended because we haven't found a prolific starting 11 that gel together and work together to be able to make these things happen that all these fans want to see. So I don't want to go hard at De Zerbi at all whatsoever because he helped us survive relegation. So I have a lot of respect for him to be able to come in and do that. It's the same as how Harry Redknapp did it for Birmingham. He did the exact same thing in just 3 games. He kept them up. So Birmingham have a lot of nice stuff, not obviously nice things to say about him, and I have a lot of nice things to say about De Zerbi for doing the exact same job he did. So I still want to give him that time, but everyone's already saying De Zerbi out. You've got to give him more than 2 Premier League games because he's only just got all these players in. We're still yet to get enjoy him, which obviously personal terms have been agreed. It's just a green light for everything else. So that's almost on the up and up for that. I'll be another attacking player that we know can create chances and make goals happen. And we've still got a lot of players that are injured that need to come back. Like Wilson Odobert is also on that list of people coming back. And I'm not.
And Xavi.
And Xavi, and you've got Maddison, who still has a bit of a knock now to his shoulder. Kulusevski to come back, and we've got loads of players that need to come back that will make this. They make the starting 11 and the bench a lot better than what we've seen these last 2 games. So all I can encourage people to do is just have a bit more patience and just show De Zerbi and the team that we're willing to take our time to watch this happen. He hasn't bought these players because it's just because he can spend the money that he wants to. He's bought these players because he knows what they can. He knows what they can do, and he's going to bring the best out of them. We just need to give him a bit more time to be able to do that. Am I happy with 2 games and 5 goals conceded? No, I'm not. I don't think anyone in this panel is. Don't think anyone outside this panel is happy with 5 goals conceded in 2 games. But patience is a virtue. Rome wasn't built in a day. These 2 things you can use, but a lot of people are probably going to say that I'm just talking out my fucking arse here, but I'm not, because I want to be more. I want to be positive about it because I have that positive mindset with everything and not just football. But there will be a point where something clicks, and we'll be seeing the Tottenham that we've wanted to see for the last 2-3 years, and when it happens, everyone will be thanking Zerbi instead of slating him. So. Yeah, I think a bit more patience from not just us, but from everyone needs to be shown here, and I can still see us doing a lot of great things come to the middle of this season. To be fair,
Ryan, what we're going to see when these players come back is serious competition for places.
I think it's with everything, Jack, that you've just said. When I turned up yesterday, there's usually a couple of lads on my left. There's a 3-generation family, granddad, dad, and son in front of me. There's my normal neighbour who's been going since like 1970. There's a few behind me, and about half of them weren't there. Now, it might be to do with some holidays, but we had a little chat. And out of about 10 that I was speaking to, 5, so the 3 in front of me and the 2 directly behind, said that they were on the verge of not renewing last season.
Don't worry, I have people in my family that are the exact same as well.
And then we go, and and we've started the season by we're bottom, right? We're bottom of the league. So that's where people are. And yes, I've been on streams saying, this is going to be a hockey stick. Yeah. This is going to be a hockey stick. It's going to get worse, and then it's going to get better. The problem is that people in the stadium, right? I've got a 4-hour round trip Yeah, to go. I've got a family here who I have to leave to go and go to the stadium. And there's many other people with similar stories. They don't want to go. And no matter how much you reason with yourself and say it's going to be difficult, we're going to build it. You go to football for the emotion, and people are emotional during the games. I'm emotional during the games. I like to think I'm quite rational, but I am very emotional during games. And so we can be rational, but during the game, and Adrian will absolutely 100% test this. Tottenham fans will transmit anxiety onto the pitch, and that will make things worse. So we do need patience, but De Zerbi also needs to get something. Needs to get something out of these guys, even if it's just a glimmer. In terms of getting players back, the concern, Adrian, is it is the medical team now. It's great that they're throwing money at it, right? And it's absolutely the right thing. It's better that they throw 2 million quid, in new coaches and new equipment and new facilities at the medical side of things than we keep having, 70 million pound players who we can't get on the pitch, right? They need to throw money at it. It does feel like they're overshooting a little bit, though. You do have to wonder if they're overshooting. Is now where is the red line now? Is the red, this famous red line? Is the red line so close to normal that anything that is an indicator that they're not on normal means that they get pulled? And it's understandable, right? When last season everyone was losing their over Frank, and I was trying to point it out to people that he only actually had 11 fit players. Right? It was absolute dire straits. So it's understandable that there's the classic human overreaction to a problem. Oh, we've had this massive problem, so we're going to overreact. That's the way humans work. We seesaw like this. And you do. So I wonder if they'll ever let Kulusevski play football again. Because will he ever be the right side of that red line? Do you see where I'm coming from?
Is he in a 5-man squad, Kulusevski?
He's in full training.
But no, this is the question though: are they going to give him a squad number?
Yeah.
So they register the squad. After the transfer deadline closes?
I think you might have 2 weeks after it. It might be quicker because I think it's different for January because it's only a month, and this one because it's 11, 12 weeks. So, but Kulu's in full training. On the injuries, Harry, though, I mean, we've had a lot, and getting players back quickly. I don't know you do that. If you've got a long-term injury, you've got a long-term injury. You've got to just ride it out. But the injuries last year, we had knee, calf, ankle, ACL. And not all our injuries were at home on that pitch, right? We got quite a few of them away from home as well, So, but I just think it's just a lot of bad luck with injuries. I don't put nothing into the pitch or nothing like that.
Yeah, and onto that, it's not for me to speculate. We've discussed previous things it could be, but they will know ultimately from the investigation what it tells them. That is what concludes. There's no problem with the retractable pitch. Who am I to say otherwise? For me, I did say on here, and I can understand why I said it in terms of Real Madrid having the retractable pitch and having a similar amount of ACL injuries at the time. It felt too much like a coincidence, but I do also believe the club when they come out and say there is no problem with a retractable pitch. You have to take their word from it. It's as simple as that. But one thing's for sure on that, De Zerbi, any staff will be doing absolutely everything they can to avoid what I call a repeat situation. And I don't believe it'd be anything like the last 2 years. And I know that's rich of me to come in here and say when Madison's got a knock, Savio muscle fatigue, and Rain's right in terms of we're probably never going to take the risk anymore, and it'll be frustrating, right? Might be a big game, North London derby. Someone feels like I don't know, some just doesn't quite feel normal, and they're not taking a chance. It turns out it was nothing wrong. You think, oh my goodness, we could have done with that player. That's when it will hit home, as I like to call it. But I would rather them do that, as frustrating it is. I might not be saying this in the moment, but looking at it, well, I'm calm. I would rather them do that than he play Adrian and then be out for a year, and when we originally told is a knock, right? Because that's the thing with Kulusevski. If you look into it, I've done some research yesterday, that when he got injured, the game he got the knock, he wasn't... he actually went down in the game before.
A 16-month knock.
Yeah, 60-month knock. But he played a lot of minutes before that, and he'd gone down in the match before and asked to be subbed, and he wasn't taken off. And I don't know why that wasn't picked up on the time, but that's how it looked to me. He went back and looked at the game. It took me ages to find all this stuff, but I wanted to know, actually, was there any signs? And it looks like there was. But the point is, I would rather us be that kind of risk-averse, if you like, and that is appearing what we're going to do. But listen, only that does worry me is when De Zerbi says you want 21, 22 players. That's all right saying that, but if we're judging off the last 2 seasons, 12, 13 injuries at one point, then we're in a really, sticky situation. And that's the worry I have. Like, we let Danso go, for example. I know we're hearing that someone else may come in. Let's pretend Danso goes out and no one else comes in. Then all of a sudden 1 or 2 centre-backs get injured, and then we go, Archie Great centre-back. We're not far away from that. I know it seems easy now, and we've done a lot this summer. It's not me moaning going, we need to go and sign the centre-back, but it is simply saying, like, a lot of people going, who are we going to sign instead of Danso? Who are we going to sign instead?
Well, we've got Davis.
I wouldn't let Danso. I know you don't like Danso, Adrian, and you made that clear. But for me,
no,
he's a must.
He is a wholehearted player that every fan loves. Those wholehearted types of player. I just think it's because De Zerbi wants centre backs, ball playing centre backs.
Well,
so his strength is in the air. His strength is in the air, and he don't take no crap off of no one because he's a lump, right? But he's just a bit clunky on the ball for me. He's just too clunky on the ball.
But again,
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, no, agree to disagree. It's the beauty of football. But in my view, this is just because Danso wants to play first team minutes. But if Ben Davies is starting over you against Charlton, you're going to be annoyed, right? Let's not pretend, because he did put a foot wrong last year. And I said to my dad in that moment, I said, surely that doesn't feel right on Danso. Of course, we didn't know the context, but it might not have been linked to this. But you would be annoyed, wouldn't you? If Ben Davies, no disrespect to him, because he's consistent, Mr. Loyal, I rate him in so many ways on and off the pitch. But Kevin Danso, after what he done for us last year, to have Ben Davies starting over you, it isn't a good look, even if it beats Charlton Athletic in round 2. But Adrian, we need to avoid these injuries. Would be great. But a lot of people at the moment are asking, who should we sign as Kevin Danso's replacement? Maybe Kevin Danso can be Kevin Danso's replacement and just keep him at the club.
Well, he might not go. Jack, on the fans.
Sorry. Just the 2 things that they can do just to improve our medical situations to start with is when players, firstly, get medical teams onto the pitch quicker, because the amount of times our players go down,
yes,
and the medical teams don't get on. Why? Yeah. Because they're worried that when they get the medical team on, then they have to go off. And you're like, no. If they're going down, right, we have to. Then the expectation is they need the medical team to go and assess them. And the second thing, which is I think is probably where Harry was going, is don't make them do star jumps if they say there's something.
Absolutely.
And the other thing, I think, unless we're using dark arts to go down to take pressure off us or something like that and slow the game down, players when they go down, they should have a signal, right, with their hand that I'm hurt. Right, there should be something like that.
Too nice.
Yeah, too nice. And Jack, I know. Look, we're all concerned. Players come back. Oh, they get injured. They'll break down and all that. Do you think we fans overplay that? The reason I say that is because, like, during a game, unless you run and your hamstring goes while you're running, there's about 18 tackles during a game, right? So you get possession when the other team give it away, basically. The tackling, you don't see any 50-50 challenges because nowadays, the way things are, you probably get a red just straight for them. So players aren't tested coming back from injury like they were back in the day when me and Ray were watching games, probably. Right. So if Decky comes back, all right, he's going to get challenges, but his challenges were all sort of like clunky challenges against him because he's usually holding the ball up and all that, So I'm not as fearful as other fans are you?
Not really. Well, there's a part of me that says yes, I'm fearful. Part of me that says I'm not fearful.
That's a normal Spurs fan.
Exactly, and I don't like to be the person that always plays devil's advocate, but in this sort of situation, I slightly am. Only because most of our injuries are knee injuries, and it's a absolute shit one to get, bar the ACL. A knee injury is a crap one to get because the main thing you're using when you're running is not only your feet, but it's also your knee. The whole movement of your knee is the whole part of running around with a football. So do I think that if Kulusevski is in full training, gets his squad number, comes back, do I think something's going to happen? Yes, I do, because he hasn't played in it for God knows how long. It's been so long since he's been in the club. So that's why I think it was right for De Zerbi to bring Kudus on in the 68th minute. It gave him 22 minutes plus added time just to get a feel for the game again. And then he can assess him throughout this whole next week to then see what happens on the weekend. So I'm happy with the way that he's done that. Kulusevski's been out for too long. I don't think he's going to, if he comes back, he'll get as long as what Kudus has, because Kudus hasn't been out as long as him. Xavi Simons, we know, is not going to be until about end of April, start of May time. I think that's what De Zerbi said. And Wilson Odobert the exact same. But nobody knows what Kulusevski is going to be like when he comes back, for how long he's had this.
Or Maddison.
Or Maddison as well. Maddison had his knee injury throughout the whole year in the pre-season with Newcastle, funnily enough. And then came back against Leeds, and then just played like a couple of minutes here and there. That's all he was fine with. He played 45 minutes against Hoffenheim, then came straight off after the penalty in the second round of Hoffenheim games, and then he's now had a knock on his shoulder, and he's out for, no one really knows how long he's out for again.
We're definitely back after the international break, which starts 21st of September. That's for 3 weeks. So. We've got 3 games before, then we'll get into them, right?
Yeah, because I miss a player like Maddison where Fernandes is, because that's where Maddison is the best at playing. And I think even if he was playing against Newcastle, he probably would have had a better chance at that free kick than Tell did. That's definitely one thing I definitely can say, because he's good at taking free kicks. He knows how to take a free kick. Tell scores one against Auckland and thinks he can take every single free kick possible. It was the same as Harry Kane when he scored that one free kick, and then when Eriksson left, who was our prolific free kick taker, Harry Kane started taking all the free kicks. Just because you do it once doesn't mean you cannot recreate it.
It took him years. He never realised that on that final day against Brentford, he still took the free kick.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the goal he got.
Free kick, to be fair.
So it was
the goal he got.
It wasn't even a direct free kick either. It was from Kulusevski where he pulled it back and he just took a shot, because he can take shots wherever he wants to and score goals. The
free kick Kane scored saved Poch's job, because it was against Villa away. And it deflected before it went in the net as well, right? Because I remember it clearly. Because I wanted us to stick with Poch because I liked him, but
Adrian, I think you're wrong.
Okay,
I think you're wrong about Kulusevski, and I think you're wrong about Maddison. I think we can come on to Danzo. The harsh reality is that and it will have the same problem with Xavi. When somebody is out of football for so long, they can do all the training they want, right? They can do all the work that they need to do, but they will come on, they will play football, and they will have a thing like Maddison had. They will have something will happen. They'll fall over. They'll do a weird little turn in a game that they wouldn't normally do in training, that they wouldn't normally do. It'll be a heat of the moment thing, and they'll get in, and it'll just be a niggle, right? But they will get a few niggles, and yes, again, I'm so pleased that the club are throwing money at this, and I'm far more confident now the way that the club are talking about dealing with the medical situation. It seems like they've really decided this is a sick one. They have to decide that it was serious. But I'm absolutely certain that they will then take, they'll take Maddison, and actually didn't De Zerbi say we need to take 3 weeks with him. Luckily, we've got the international break coming up as well. But this will happen with these players coming back. They will have something will happen. You know what it's like. Football is different to training. yeah, and they will have something that happens, and it will knock them out for a week or two, and then hopefully, that only happens 2 or 3 times, and then they're back. But that'll be the reality. It won't be Kulusevski is back. My expectation is it will be Kulusevski is back, manage him, then get another little niggle. You'll get all of the fans going, "Oh, that's it, he's rubbish," dustbin, this, that, and the other. But this is just the reality of recovery from serious injury.
Okay, but the ACL injuries, apart from the ankle and the knee or the calf, right? The ACL injuries are the ones to worry about more. When you've done your knee, they will scan his knee to see if the collagen's got to all that tendons in there to repair that, if it's repaired. So we know that he'll be strong enough to come back, right? With a hamstring injury, it's a series of muscles that run from the back of your rear end down to the back of your knee. So it's different again. I mean, we'll see.
It's not the knee. It's not. The point is, Adrian, it's not that injury. The point is, if you've got 12 months, or in Kulusevski's case, almost 24 months without football, it's every other body part, yeah, that then hasn't had the in-game conditioning that it gets, and it only takes one little thing to go wrong. And in a finely tuned athlete,
I get what you're
he'll
saying.
knock him out for a week or two.
I get what you're saying, but that's why if you've got a good medical and science team, you develop a program for that player to rehabilitate him, right? So we've got no confidence in the science or medical team, even it's changed now, because we haven't seen what they've been able to do or whatever. So, we're going to go through the chat. We've got 140 of you viewing us on various platforms, which is fantastic. And Friday's show was brilliant. I think we've got 800 odd views, right? So that's on the YouTube channel, right? So you can tell football's back because the numbers jump, Harry, don't they? Like they do, they jump in your groups. People have recovered. Well, not so much as if you're a Spurs fan, and now they want to see podcasters out there, Right, let's go to these. What we got here? Benji, big up Benji. Yeah, get over to Benji's chat as well, guys. He started a new channel. It's very good, right? Harry's here. I've got your banners here anyway, Harry. Yeah, I've got your banner in. Yeah, I mean, Scarlett needs a move as well, but he's homegrown. Big up. Yeah, thank you, Scotty there. If there's any questions for the panel, good evening. Thank you, David Tull, who's a regular friend of the show now. Evening, Chris Barrett, evening. Paul Brown, good evening, Adrian. Or hopefully, we're all well here. Yeah, nerves are shredded, but we're all well. Right, all you guys are blowing up. We spent the most of this for one. Well, that should always be the aim, to win the league. It should always be the aim. We're not going to, though. No, he's not. In fact, he put out 2 fires very early in the game, down in the corner opposite me, Gray. And I thought it was okay. As much as it's very hard to praise anyone because of the result, he was okay before he went off. End up with 6 inverted. David's a winger, right? David's an ex-winger. He's in Leicester, and all his family are Leicester supporters apart from him. He's a Spurs fan. High players. 2 real wingers over. Well, you've left out Savio, David. Don't you like him? And 1 number 9. Big up, Phil King. Big up, mate. We'll get you on a show probably next week. We're now week 2 of pre-season. Yes, we are. And we're all eager for our first 3 points. Yeah, he is our only number 9. Okay. Yeah, it's without doubt it's their best transfer window ever, and we don't want another one like it. Otherwise, it means we're back in the mire, right? Yeah, I've seen Solanke give defenders a torrid time, but not enough of it. Paul, big up, Paul. I know you joined the XCOM group recently. For what I've got. Yeah, but with Newcastle, David, I get it's a valid point you make here, but don't forget, even though they've got rid of a few players, you know, a few good for their better players as well, like the remaining players they've got have played too well and been playing as a team for a long while, whereas we're trying to
get Newcastle fan.
Yeah, we're trying to get our team to gel. That's the biggest problem we have. The new players to gel. No, I wouldn't say he's making excuses. I thought he made some valid points. Right, we'll flick through these and we'll get gone to the game. Yeah. By the way, we've got 140 of you viewing us now on various platforms. Like, you can see the red subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Please click it and subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up and leave a comment. I haven't really been promoting my channel that much, really. I should. Right, so in Premier League will not be successful. Yeah, the best work I've seen from him is on the left. You know what, Rain, I'm going to come to this when I'm going through the chat, right? I wouldn't mind us playing a 4-4-2 with a Solanke and a Marmoush. And Marmoush on the left, two wingers either side of Fernandes and Tonali.
So, I mean, it comes back to the, why is he playing Fernandes in the 10 rather than in his position? And it's because, in a similar way to the way we're saying we want players to learn their positions and learn their teammates, get those relationships going. De Zerbi is quite clearly trying to drill into them the way that he wants us to play. We saw the box for midfield with Marmoush dropping back, joining the 10, the two pivots, the wingers staying wide, incredibly wide, even towards the end. You know, across the other, 100 yards from me, I was seeing Mikey Moore patrolling the touch line of the left wing, and I was desperate. I think that's where you are actually, Adrian. I would have on the corner between the south and the east stand, and
that's where I am.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
I'm in block 530.
And I don't know where that is. I just know the blocks. I just know the blocks near me.
You're really near me, Adrian, as well.
But I would have been set. We were desperate at that point for Mikey Moore. For our players to come into. We needed to be a goal threat, and he's not a goal threat out on the wing. It's quite clear that De Zerbi, you say play 4-4-2. Other people, I said to one stream, why do we? And I've seen other people say it, rather than force the 10 when we don't have one. Why not just play a flat 4-3-3? And the clear reason why he's not doing it, and it does make sense, is he wants the formation and the way of playing to just for us to do it constantly, and it does make sense.
Yeah, Ari, I'd like to see it because not necessarily a 4-4-2, but when we had the desk, when we had Dele, Ericsson, Son, and Kane, you had a lot of time that like Dele Alli was playing off Kane. He'd move into a position. He knew when to go and when to be there. And I just think Marmoush and Solanke could work, in a similar way.
Yeah, they could. And I hear you shout for a 4-4-2. I just have bad memories of us playing two in midfield, particularly under Conte, up against teams that have three in midfield, and we get dominated and overrun. So my thoughts of playing two in midfield aren't very positive, to be honest, because although we had some really good times under Conte, they certainly weren't when the team had an extra midfielder that kind of up against us. So yeah, I could see it working, but the reality is Marmoush is best as a second striker. And I thought he was really good and a positive against Newcastle. But there were times that Kudus coming in particular balls in the box and just generally aimed at the team. There is no one there. I've already made this point, but no one there to win the header. And that's frustrating. I just think a proper number 9 finishes them, right? I believe if Harry Kane's on the pitch, who would have scored, even if we just agree on one towards the end, we could have put 2 balls. For me, I'd just bang on the money. But there's one, there was no one there, and one, just poor positioning. So I love Marmoush, and I thought he was great when he was driving at defenders. But at the same time, one corner that come in, he's got a bit of space. He should really score that, if I'm allowed to say. He had another one a bit like that. So can he be the number 9? The club seem to, at this moment, be putting trust in him. And it looks like Dom Solanke, to be fair. And I've been someone that wanted Solanke. And in my family, they're not fans of him, let's just say. So I fight daily, actually, to defend Solanke. But even I can admit that he hasn't done as well as I'd have thought. And he just isn't going to give you constant guaranteed goals. Having said that, keep him fit. It'd be interesting to see how many he does get, because there's this narrative painted that Solanke doesn't score at all. That simply isn't true. His problem is the consistency, and his problem is he isn't. Sounds weird for a striker, but isn't the best finisher. He's more about the hold-up play, the work rate, your team player, your drop in midfield. He's not necessarily always the one to finish off the chance, and that's for me against Newcastle. We create some of those chances, not enough for my liking, but we create chances, but there was no one there to finish them. So Victor Osimhen is what I'm saying would be lovely for the end of the window, but that's not going to happen, is it? Let's be realistic about it. It's still been a very good window. But I hear you, Adrian, and I wouldn't rule out a 4-4-2, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Just player moving into there, because we always see, Jack, don't we? When we do get a winger down in the byline, there's no one in the box, which is frustrating. And on a good point about Marmoush, he does press. But our press was rubbish against Newcastle.
Yeah, there was a lack of pressing where normally we can have that ability to press quite hard at the pitch. I mean, there was one point where I think Marmoush is running towards one of the defenders. I think it was Thor. And as he's going towards him, he's passed it back to the goalkeeper, and Marmoush sort of just stopped his pressing when he was already in full force going towards it and then running towards the keeper that he knew was going to pass it over there. But as the pass is made, he sort of just stopped his full force of run. Where normally you'd see, I'm going to hate to say it because I don't really want to say it, but you'd see a Richarlison who is still pressing the whole way up to the keeper, or sometimes you even see Solanke who's pressing the whole way up to the keeper. I don't think Marmoush is that high of a pressing player. Going all the way to the keeper, where I think we'd like him to keep pressing the ball, even if it's not at the intended target that he was running for. But yeah, we had the lineup that we had was not really like a complete all the way to the back line pressing. There was more players sort of branching off and marking other players that couldn't get the ball, and then Marmoush trying to do all the running. But I think the point with Kudos coming on and making those balls into the box and no one being able to attack them takes us back to the first game of last season, where Kudos made 2 perfect balls into the box and Richarlison was there to meet them. He just then did not do anything after that. We now don't have, if when he goes to Everton and we then get Njai in, we haven't got anyone of height at the front line that is able to make those sort of headers. Whereas what Harry was saying, Harry Kane on the pitch, getting those balls into the box, he's going to get up for those headers and hopefully score at least one. We haven't really been able to replace him as a striker in terms of height, goal efficiency, and movement on and off the ball, which is probably where Osimhen would have easily fit, him being 6'2", 6'3". He's able to get in the air and get those balls in when when Kudos or someone of the like is making balls in like that. He can meet them. We haven't got anyone like that. So are we then going to have to wait until the winter or maybe the next summer transfer to get a striker of height that is able to do that? Possibly yes, possibly no, because there are still players on the pitch that are quite tall in height, not that don't play striker, that can sort of force their way into the pitch. It's just do they have the legs to get themselves back into their original position? Some of them yes, some of them slightly less, some of them not really at all. But but to be fair, I'm not going to slate Marmoush in the slightest, because he was actually doing what most of us wanted him to do, and that was taking shots in positions where not a lot of players that we have on the pitch would be taking shots. Like, I've seen a lot of games over the last year, well, the last 2 years, last season and season before, where we're trying to score the perfect goal, which is beat your man on the left-hand side or right-hand side, run into the box, and then score a tap in, which is what I don't always want to see. If you have that opening chance to get that in, like with Chelsea earlier, Neto got the ball, cut back, ran into the box, gave it to João Pedro, he then scored. You can do that when you have that opportunity and have that space. When you don't, and there's more space on the outside of the box, and you know there's someone that's able to just finesse a ball in or put his foot through it and score, then that's the best option. I don't want to be seeing us trying to score the perfect goal all the time, because it's not always going to work, and that's sort of what's stopping us in that upfront situation, which is what Richarlison was very prolific in, was mainly scoring a couple of tap-ins here and there, which is why he got 10 goals last season. And on terms of Solanke, I haven't seen him at his best version like he was at Bournemouth. Like they had, I don't know if it was the 21-22 season at Bournemouth where he had like 24 goals or something like that, or 21-22 he had 29 goals and 7 assists. 23-24 he had 19 goals, almost teetering the 20 line. He's then joined us after his 19 goal season, scored 9, and then last season scored 3. So he's slowly dropped off from that point where he was at Bournemouth, which is the reason why we bought him, because he was on such a high off of 2 decent seasons.
Where did you get the 3 goals from? When Brennan Johnson scored his 18, was their top scorer, Solanke scored 15. He got 8 league goals and 7 assists. And actually, his record is not bad. It's 19 goals and 8 assists, which is 27. Now, I get these off of AI, right? So if AI is wrong, then I'm in the mud, right? So 27 is 63. That's a good GA. It's just 3.
The one that I have for 25-26 was in the league. It was 15 games, 3 goals. He played 1 game in the FA Cup, did not score, and then he played 3 Champions League games and scored 3. So that would be 6. In the 25.
He had 3 goals last season. He had 3 Premier League goals.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make is we haven't seen him at his Bournemouth best. Which is where we wanted to see him when we bought him in, which is the reason why we bought him in when Kane was going. So we still Marmoush isn't going to be the person to 100% completely fix that problem, which is why we bought in players like Savinho, Kudus now coming back, Xavi Simons back hopefully soon. Enjoy if he comes in, hopefully that will also give us some more goal scoring threat. But my point is Marmoush is known from just getting to the outside of the box in a decent position and just whacking one, and sometimes scoring them. Not all the time, definitely not all the time. Like we saw yesterday.
Yeah, he scores bangers though.
Exactly, he does. But he does score bangers from outside the box. Like the 2 seasons at City, he scored 10 goals. But Frankfurt, the season before Andy joined City, was 15 and 17. Now he's 27, which means he's on the prime level of teetering. But obviously 26 is prime level, and then now it's 27. If with our obligation to buy, we'll take him to 2031, which means he will be around roughly 31, 32. We're going to have him through 28 years to 31, which is now in his prime to when it's slowly sort of not really starting to teeter off. That's a perfect time to have a player that is known from getting to the outside the box and just thumping balls in. And just testing the keeper. We don't test the keeper from outside the box. We barely test him from inside the box.
Well, actually, you say that, but clearly the shackles have come off, because look at Mikey Moore's goal against Charlton. Yeah, the Thomas Frank, the Thomas Frank shackles.
In the Brentford
thou
game
shalt not shoot from long distance. Have clearly gone. And we did have a couple of long shots at the weekend. I'm going to just do a bit of a devil's advocate on Solanke, and it's not. I don't want to sort of laud him. I think Solanke is a very good striker. I think the biggest problem we've got with Solanke is availability. I think when he's actually played, and also I have to say, and I personally am not a massive fan of this type of argument, but I'm going to present it. I think he was told to play a certain way last season, which meant that he didn't get in the box as much as he should be getting in the box. When I've seen him get in the box, he is an excellent clinical finisher. I've seen it many times. So my biggest concern, and I think it sort of echoes what you've been saying, Jack, is the way that De Zerbi plays feels a bit disjointed. I need to see how it works because Marmoush, he wants the 9, which is Marmoush. I don't think Marmoush is a 9. I think Marmoush is a 9 when there's 2 strikers. Yeah, it's the old I've got a partnership. So, and back then they weren't called 9 and 10; they were just called 2 strikers. And that's the way they played at Frankfurt. Him and Ekatike. They were just 2 strikers they just next to each other, and rather than this 9 and 10. But if the 9 drops back to be alongside the 10, the wingers get up and then, as you say, cross the ball in. Marmoush, I've seen Marmoush play. I love Marmoush Frankfurt Marmoush, and getting on the end of crosses to finish them is not Frankfurt Marmoush.
And on that rain, Solanke hasn't scored many headers at all.
Solanke though.
Yeah, Solanke doesn't score many headers. If you go on AI, he hasn't got many.
We haven't had players to give him that chance, to be honest. In the last 2 years, we haven't had players to give him that chance. We only just had Kudos in last year, which probably could have given him more of that chance. He just wasn't available. So he had to deal with Richarlison, which, bear in mind, he got 2 assists in his first game to Richarlison's 2 goals and only goals in that game. But we haven't had anyone to feed a striker like Solanke, which is why we've never seen the Bournemouth Solanke. And hopefully, if this, because this, I'm not being funny, this formation for me, this 4-2-3-1, I don't like it personally. I don't really even realistically like the 4-3-3. Because it just gives it, everyone's too far apart and it gives them too much space for players to just run through the middle of them. Because people are trying to mark someone out on the left to have a left midfielder, someone trying to mark someone on the right, even one person centre middle. He can't do everything at once. So what Ryan's saying with the 4-4-2 situation, what everyone's saying with the 4-4-2, it does make sense. Have Tonali and Fernandes in the middle of those two. If you want to have a left mid and right mid, fine. Enjoy Savio if Enjoy comes in. It makes a lot of sense, and have Marmoush and Solanke up front in there, and then have when we're even attacking, have Marmoush drop a little back, just back behind Solanke, so they have sort of another attacking midfielder / striker being able to get the ball to him, and then feed that ball to Solanke, who is good at finishing inside the box, as well as being able to have those players to push out wide, to then swing balls in to meet it for Solanke if there's not much option inside the middle, which a 4-4-2 does make sense. And De Zerbi has played a 4-4-2. He's not scared of using the 4-4-2. Just with the players that we have and the injuries that we've got, a 4-4-2 realistically isn't feasible until these players come back and they're able to play. That's how I see it.
Well, under Conte and Mourinho, we were playing sort of 4-3-3 because that goalkeeper 4 and 3, that's an 8-3. If you play 4-2-3-1, it's a 7-4. So you've got 4 attackers. You've got your playmaker with 2 players either side and your striker. It's a 7-4. Look, they're not set in stone formations. I mean, it's a question of what you do when you're actually on the pitch. Like when I'm saying, I give it as a 4-4-2 explanation, so as people can see that basically I want at times during a game, I want the one striker, I want him to have someone alongside him helping him out. Not to be that close to him, but there, because we see it too much in this horseshoe football we see now. We see one striker up front. What's he supposed to do? What's he supposed to do on his own? At least Solanke is good fulcrum, though. He can play balls off him to a player that come in and have a shot. You know, you can do that with him. I mean, we're going to keep him. He's homegrown. He's not going anywhere. But I just want to, right, let's go back to, want to do a quick synopsis of the game because we've got transfers to talk about. Right, 3 minutes. VDV got the yellow card. Tonali, bad ball. Right, 15 minutes. Right, this was the best thing Tell did during the game. Van Hecker to Marmoush, to Tell, cuts inside, he shoots. And it was a fierce shot, and Hornacek, the Czech goalkeeper, he saved it. 17 minutes, Porro shoots, Hall blocked. He had a good game, Hall, didn't he? 22 minutes, Porro shot wide. 36 minutes, Robertson shoots, Hornacek palms it for a corner. Spelled Robertson wrong. Back to school for me. Right, 37 minutes, corner, VDV. Hornacek instinctive save. We had chances. 48 minutes. What, guys, any of you want to come in here? Do you think this was a penalty? They happened so quickly that even me in the East End, up next to the South Stand virtually, it's happened so quick. I thought, is it or isn't? And I don't know, what's VAR? Is VAR not getting so involved this season? I don't think they are they?
They're not getting involved. They got very involved with the Man United game earlier with the Harry Maguire handball shout because he's shanked it and it's hit someone else in class as an own goal. It counts as a goal. I'm not being funny. He's touched it with his arm.
Stupid role, isn't that? Stupid.
Unnatural position. His arm's here. He's like this, praying in the bed.
He knows it as well. If you look at the look he gives Dallo, he know that's a guilty look. He knows it as well. But
yeah, and he sat there laughing about it as well, right after the goal.
What's annoying is his shot's not going in as well. He's handballed it. His shot's not going in. That's so frustrating.
He's completely shanked it. Yeah. And mate. But so VAR are getting involved, but
not as much.
Again, it's not as much. I mean, there was when Man United.
It was the other. It was sorry. One second. It was the other side of the pitch from me, and I went and looked at replays today, and it was they didn't even on the TV they didn't go and they didn't have a look at it. Okay, so I've no idea. I have no idea if it was a penalty or not. Yeah. I mean, I went up for it, and I think as Spurs
like everyone
fans,
else would.
Yeah, but I think as Spurs fans, we don't go up for enough. I think as Spurs fans, we don't put enough pressure on the referee. I think there's far too many people around me who are like, "Oh, that's we fouled that player." I'm like, okay, but you know what? I'm going to be partisan while I'm here. I don't need to be a judge. Yeah. I'm supporting my team, right? Okay. And there's far too many Spurs fans who are like that. They want to criticise the team rather than actually, try to get the referee. If you go to Liverpool, you go to Anfield, they scream for everything, and that's a big reason why they get everything. And it was the same at Man United under Fergie. Fergie went for everything, so the whole crowd went for everything, and that is why they got everything.
Referees feel pressure. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, human beings.
Right, 60 minutes. Marmoush shoots. He had a bright debut.
Very good.
He needs to be more. He needs to be more clinical. He absolutely needs to be finishing some of these.
Yeah, 62 minutes. 1-0 to them. Dedic nods down. Elanga scores the curler. It was an agonising goal, wasn't it? We scored one like that crept in the net, right? Just got in the inside. I can't remember if I was blaming anyone for this goal. I'm right down the other end, so 68 was more for Gray, you doggy for Robertson, Kudus for Tell. I thought Kudus was bright when he come on, guys, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, but there's still a lot more work for him to be done in order to be full fitness and back to straight where he was again. But I think him just coming on for those 22 minutes plus the added time, he definitely showed some bright spells and a bit of that flair that we were sort of missing out.
Yeah, he's come back a bit earlier than. Go on.
He contributed in his 20 minutes. He contributed just as much as Tell did, with probably more quality than Tell did for the whole of his appearance. And I won't go into Tell. When I've been on other streams, I've said I'm going to put Tell in a box up here, and I'm going to talk about everything else. Because I can't deal with talking about Tell, but Kudus, showed his quality when he came on.
I don't see the likes of Tell or Bergvall leaving this football club. I could see it in January if they get opportunities and they don't take them. I don't see De Zerbi will be ruthless. I mean, like he will. He doesn't mess with players. Was it at Marseille? Was it when he said one of the players, "Well, if you're not going to do what I tell you to do, then go to the changing room. While you're there," he said, "phone your agent." Selling the
does look straight
parachutes,
to the
obviously
point.
calms over. Yeah, second half wasn't. We had better chances in the first half, and we've seen it from last season, guys, haven't we? I mean, like, how many times? Because we only won 3 home games, right? We keep winning the European games there, like about 20 on the spin. But I mean, how many times did we see us going at half time last season, 1-0 down or 0-0? You know, and that's always a bad sign at half time, I think, if you're in that 0-0, right? Rather this acrobatic finish. Yeah, this one come over, he's just sort of flicked it. Kinski was stranded.
Are we criticising Kinski?
No, I'm not. Why are you?
No, good. No, not in the slightest.
No.
I think Kinski did exactly what I would expect a goalkeeper
Because
to do. What
It was just unfortunate. It just went
it come from the corner. It's quick.
It's not. There's
It's
nothing.
quick.
Baltimore got up.
An aerobatic shot like that all the time. So he's going
Absolutely.
to fall short in those situations. Many goalkeepers had it against us with how Romero done it and how Paulinho did it a couple of times. These things happen in a random, like, spur of the moment, and it catches everyone off guard. So I'm not going to fault Kinski for the second goal in the slightest.
Baltimore got up and he headed the ball down. The ball hit the ground, and Kinski was actually coming out and he was doing the Schmeichel star. And it just so happened that as he was doing that, Visser's acrobatics to have that. People people need to go and have a look at it. It was incredibly gymnastic the way that he actually did it.
Acrobatic,
it wasn't a classic bicycle kick where his legs 6 foot in the air. It was almost one of these karate kicks, where his legs like by his shoulder, right? And Kinski's a meter away. If Kinski saves that, then we need to be paying Kinski 150 grand a week.
Right. 87 minutes. Marmouche volley. Hornership gets down and saves. Where are we? 92 minutes. Solanke diverts. Borehall clears. Right. Okay. Right. Stats, guys. Harry, what do you make of these? I'm not a fan of stats, to be honest.
No. Okay.
Can I talk about a couple of players?
Yeah, go on.
Rather than the stats?
Fernandes was good.
I thought Fernandes was outstanding, despite saying I don't want him in the 10. I thought you can see how good this guy is. Yeah, and I need to be checked because there may be a bit of bias. Yeah, because at the start of the window, when we signed him, I was like, I am so excited about this guy, and so I just need people to tell me if it's confirmation bias. But I thought his passing, his movement was absolutely excellent. I thought Van Hecker was actually very good. I've been worried about him. I've been worried about him defensively.
Got a lot of good headers, didn't he?
He got exactly. Adrian was about to say he got up and headed. He had a header cleared off the line, but his passing really came to the fore. Yesterday, really, really good, and he drove into midfield a couple of times. Like we've seen Van de Ven do, and then pass the ball. He was excellent, really, really, really good. I was really impressed. Robertson, I was worried about Robertson, and I know that they targeted him in the second half, but this Robertson, for me, that I saw yesterday, he's already in the first half. He's already as he currently stands, the best left back we've had since prime Danny Rose. He can cross. He knows what he's doing. You can see he's a pro, and we just need to keep this guy fit and dovetail him with your doggy. That's those are the 4 players. Those are the 3. Oh, the one other player that I wanted, Tonali. I know that he's had a bit of grief, and oh my word, did the Newcastle fans go for him? Oh my God, they went for him. But I actually thought that he was making good decisions. I actually thought that he was running with the ball when he needed to run with it, tried to pass the ball when he should have been passing. I think there's a lot of positives in.
He's not match sharp between years on his decision making. Those passing, I mean, overhit, underhit passes. But see, that's what I say to people about pre-season. It's not about like individuals having brilliant games. It's about getting it right between here, making the passes, making the right decisions. That you don't get. I mean, that is why you do pre-season as well. Whether you win or lose the game, it's nice, but go on, Rain, go on.
And it's absolutely, and it's why it's such a shame that we're undercooked.
Yeah,
because I think we have come in undercooked, and the Premier League is a ruthless beast, and we are currently being punished for being undercooked.
On these stats, though, Harry, I mean, like,
sorry guys,
all I read into them is like, because of, I mean, you can't come and do a show and like, beef everything up or big everything up when we've lost 2-0. You can't do it on any loss, right? You're on a hide into nothing from the fans. But I mean, I see, like Rain alluded to earlier in the chat, that I have seen De Zerbi ball. I've got a firm idea when we're attacking and teams come onto us. I don't know what De Zerbi ball is going to look like against a low block because I haven't seen it against a low block.
Yeah.
So, but there are encouraging stats in there. We're encouraging things in the game, and I know it's hard for me to say that because we lost. So you know where I'm coming from, like
I know where you're coming from. And I feel really positive, even despite that game, and even despite being there yesterday. And I know I sound crazy, maybe less crazy because it's a day after now. But for me, I thought we were better. We were against Brentford. We saw some structure, looked like a team. Poor in the final third, like I said earlier, with no end product. But that second half performance, that's where it wasn't good enough, where the game was lost, in my view. But it's going to take longer for this De Zerbi project to kick into gear than we would like. I don't think there's any need to panic. I think it just needs to come together with that time. But De Zerbi teams typically do start slow. I think Brighton lost the first 3, apart from a draw at Anfield. So I think there's a real struggle there. It takes time, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. And some will say we're giving teams a 2-game head start. But for those that, because I've had a lot of rival fans as well, when other fans contact me going, surely De Zerbi's under pressure. But for me, the pressure's on any manager, particularly when they've been backed as De Zerbi has. But I think we must give De Zerbi that time to build something. The rebuild, the difficult bit is when you sell players you don't want to sell. We're currently going through that and have been through that. And then the second hardest part is giving it that time to gel. Because whenever you spend money, you can buy the best players in the world. When they haven't played together, it's not going to kick, in my opinion anyway, straight into gear. It's going to probably come good quicker, or et cetera, et cetera. But the point is, everything takes time. And it's a poor start to the season as a whole, Adrian, right? 5 goals conceded, 0 scored, 2 defeats. None of us wanted that. We probably all expected a little bit better than this, but it's going to take time. We weren't ready, but we all wanted the rebuild. We want the rebuild. It's easy to say that. We want these signings. We want this rebuild, but that hard part is giving it the time to come together. So I think that's what we're seeing now. So if you ask me, and am I concerned? Not in the slightest. If this is what we're talking about in 5 weeks' time, yeah, a little bit concerned that it hasn't come together yet. But I can sit here with confidence and say this is not going to be like the last 2 seasons. I'm actually put my neck on the line and go, I think we are in Europe next season. I think we can storm it at the end. It's not me being arrogant, I'll watch out for Tottenham, but it is me simply going, De Zerbi's been backed. He's a good manager. Both those things will come together. And I think after that first international break, Adrian, I think we're going to skyrocket. But particularly as we get into that festive period, I think we're going to do really well at that. We've got to give De Zerbi a minimum to the end of the festive period, then kind of analyse there. It's going to take some time. But I would say this lastly, to compare to Chelsea isn't a great example, although they're going for a transition themselves. Manager, complete, incredible, another level. Look at their front three. They're just absolutely incredible. They are better than us. And I think a lot of Tottenham fans look at Chelsea and go, it hasn't taken any time to gel. But I don't think that's a fair comparison. Adrian, I'm still excited for the season. A bad start, but I saw something that encouraged me against Newcastle, and that was a team. And the build-up play was what really excited me. So I'm not panicking. I'm not panicking. But as this comment rightly says, the only time I will panic is when AFCON comes along, because we're going to lose a lot of players.
When that break, you've got all the continents have got competitions, qualifications. For us, it's just that Poxy Nations League. Why don't you aim for a scrap qualification and just refund every... If you just pick teams that are going to go in the competition, if you want to increase it, why don't you just scrap all this pre-qualification crap, right? And then pay all them foreign FAs money they would have lost through the extra games you're going to play in these competitions, and you could get rid of it. Because I'm biased. I'm biased when it comes to Spurs and
No,
England.
no, you're fine. I don't like Nations League either or anything like that. But AFCON, I think, is fantastic. But you know, the comment says it's in the summer, but we have had points, haven't we? Where AFCON previously has disrupted the season, which is fine. But if you think about it, you know, Marmoush, Jandai, you know, you've got a lot of players that we're going to lose the front three. So that is something to think about. But it's not something to stop these transfers going through, but it's something, again, Rain makes this point a lot of times on here, rightly, squad planning. That has been so poor at the football club for so long. Plan for this situation, plan for AFCON, plan for injuries. That's what we have to do. And we need to
and plan for pre-season. I think pre-seasons are booked
Jack.
two seasons in a row, right? But if you're going to go to if you're going to go to Australia, right, what really pisses me off, right? Then you're going to play a team from Auckland, from New Zealand and all that, or you're going to go to Singapore and you're going to play teams like Japan or the K-League. Hang about. Have one base. Let them teams come to you, right? We've travelled halfway across the planet. Let them, if you're going to play teams from 3 different countries, let 2 of them come to you, right?
I've done a little bit of research. We travelled the most, apparently, out of the top 6 sides, and we actually played the least amount of games, and I think they're against low-level oppositions. Also, I do know that we played the closest to our first game of the season, as in the last game of pre-season, first game of our Premier League season. That's the closest gap out of anybody in the entire Premier League. It wasn't a big gap. It was under 7 days, whereas most left it 8 to 10 days, with the most being Brentford, I think, who left it 11 days, who we played, funny enough. So they had, you look at that, 3.5 days more rest is what they had, and they were travelling from a shorter distance. So we just got it completely wrong. And you can't be using this as an excuse in 3 months' time, but pre-season is to prepare you for the season. And what are we not? We're not prepared for the season. So you have to look at pre-season and go, it's a disaster. I mean, travelled such big distance, Adrian, and it's just so frustrating. I keep saying it. I'll say it every time because it really annoys me. A year ago, Maddison was taken on that pre-season tour. It wasn't meant to. It was before his recovery date. Snapped and was out for a year. It isn't always a good thing. Touring the world, and we have amazing fans around the world. Great club is Tottenham in terms of represented around the world, but I feel like player welfare is not prioritised, but it is commercial interest. So not just the whole of clubs, Adrian, need reroute and remember what comes first.
I want to whip through these and do NDA last, right? And then we've got the 3 games, right? Right. So Donnelly's got a loan to Luton. Right, Jack, do you think Dancy's out of this club? Dancy's gone?
Well, to be fair, I think I've already seen it. There's a deal agreed in principle.
Do you want him to go though? And do you think he's gone? That's the question.
He's going to be 4th choice behind Senesi, which isn't good. But I think me and you have had this conversation before, and that I want to have players to back up the players that are starting in the 11, just in case someone gets injured. Because we've had this situation for God knows how long with injuries, and no one to actually back up that players, which is why Archie Gray's in either centre back or right back, which is why a prolific left back and Davis has now had to convert himself to a centre back, and so on and so forth. So these situations keep cropping up. So do I want to see him go? No, not really, because if Van Ecker gets injured, then Senesi's in. If then Van der Ven gets injured, who's then in? Is it Davis? Is it Archie Gray? I'd rather it not be. I'd rather it just be Danzo, who is a centre-back by trade. Like, I want someone by trade to play their trade position the whole time, which is why I'd rather Archie Gray stick into his centre-mid position, because that's where he's learnt to play at Leeds and learnt to play when he was a kid. That's where he always wanted to play. And now he's being forced to play right-back. And he's obviously, he only said yes to playing right-back because the Zerb was giving the armbands and saying, look, you're going to be captain. I need you to play right-back. He's like, yeah, fine, not a problem. He's doing it because he's young and he's ambitious and he wants to have in the manager's good books, but it's going to destroy him mentally when he's having shit games and everyone's taking the piss out of him and blaming him for it. We made him the youngest captain for Tottenham before beating Steve Perryman, and we go and lose 3-0 to fucking Brentford. That's a horrible thing. It's the same as Kinsey against Atletico Madrid. It's a lot different in terms of he wasn't captain, but he got taken off after 3 goals conceded, and everyone was taking the absolute piss out of him. It's the exact same thing. It's also players' mentality, and also their wellness. It's going to make them upset and make them not want to play and make them want to exit, which is why most players are saying that they want to leave, because all their confidence is just going down in the bin. And I think Danzo doesn't want that, because he doesn't want to be 4th choice, because he knows he's good in his position, but he doesn't want to be known as the 4th choice centre-back. which is why Vuskovic left for Brighton. First game had a clean sheet, was great. Obviously, earlier they got absolutely ruined by Chelsea. So there's a different story in that situation. But he's getting first team football, which is what he wanted and what he prefers. And he's 19. He's ambitious. He wants to have that ambition and keep his confidence up. And putting Gray in the position where we did put him has definitely brought his confidence down after a 3-0 loss and being named Tottenham's youngest captain with 97 days to spare from Steve. But I think, for me personally, Danzo, I'd rather keep him just so we have that backup rotation. Even if one of them is getting tired in the 75th minute, Danzo, substitute. Then we still have a full, solid defensive back line instead of a centre mid or a left back in centre back.
So, Rain,
when you said,
let me ask the question.
Yeah.
Your take on Danzo, plus give me your take on Sarta Juventus.
When you said young and ambitious, you missed out a word. Young, ambitious, and stupid. Right? That's unfortunately. Unfortunately, look, I'm an old man. I've got kids. I've got kids who are older than you, right? And it is true. An 18 or 19-year-old makes bad decisions.
And Archie Gray made that bad decision wanting to have captain's armband. That's what it is.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you.
Yes, and play right back, De Zerbi's going to just throw him left back whenever the fuck he wants.
And anyone who thinks it's a good idea to sell Danzo, right? Anyone who thinks it's a good idea to sell Danzo, just think of this like a game of chess, right? You are thinking one move, right? Let's think the next move. The next move is the most likely scenario is we get somebody a lot worse than Danzo at centre back, and I make this the most likely scenario, we don't sign somebody else to replace Danzo, and like Jack said, if we need a right centre back, it will be Archie Gray. So now with that new knowledge, right, do we actually want Danzo to stay? Now, Adrian said something at the start. I only want players who want to play for the club. I don't give a monkeys. I don't care if they want to play for the club or not. I don't give a shit. I do not care. They are assets. They are contracted to our club, right? They are human beings. But as soon as you put your name on that contract, you are obliged to fulfill that contract, just in the same way that Spurs are obliged to fulfill that contract. And I may go all Gen X on this, but that is the nuts and bolts of it. And if that means that De Zerbi needs to do some man management, sit down with Danzo and go, look, mate, it's just too late. What is this all about? It's too late. You are part of this centre back. You're part of this centre back team. And you are going to play. I wouldn't mention how many there are. I would just say you are part of this centre back team, and you are going to play minutes this season. It may very well be that you become, the player who plays the most. Who knows? But I'm very sorry, mate. It's just too late for you to leave and go somewhere else.
Fair enough, and it's homegrown as well.
So I don't. So you are going to have to stay at this club. I don't care whether it's homegrown. What I care about is I was told, right? It's so bizarre, right? It's so bizarre. I was told by the same fans who were desperate for Savinho to come into this football club, yeah, and told that we had to wait because Man City needed to replace their third string winger, who they've already got plenty of wingers in front of them, and we needed to wait. I got those same fans telling me that we need to let Danzo go.
But that was a false narrative right now, because now we know.
So those fans. Wait a minute. Those fans are being. This is what drives me nuts about people. They're being completely hypocritical. What they're doing is they're going, this is the scenario I want. I'm going to fit my principle to match the scenario. And then when another scenario comes up that's exactly the same, they change their principle, right?
Yep.
And my principle is Danzo is an asset of this football club. He is a fundamental part of the way that this squad is built. Coming back to Harry's squad management thing, it's too late. I'm sorry, mate. It's too late.
The narrative on that, though, is now we know why the deal was delayed, because we were going for a double deal with Marmoush. So that deal was delayed. It wasn't because we all knew, all of us here knew, Man United still got Man City still got a fantastic squad. We named the wingers and the strikers they've got, didn't we? Semenyo, Doku. You got Phil Foden, can't get a team. Ryan Cherky. You got Haaland.
I do think City were difficult to deal with, though, Adrian. Adrian, I do think they held it up. I'll be honest. I think they are difficult to deal with. That's the impression that I get, anyway.
Okay,
I think that as well.
I want to come with you. Give me your take on Danso, whether you want to keep him, Sarr, and Richarlison to Everton.
Sarr and Richarlison, I don't care. I don't think they're part of our squad. So,
Harry and Richarlison at Everton for 35 million, believe it or not, right? I was right on this one.
Yeah, you were, yeah. Fair play. I didn't think we'd get that much. I believe it when I say
it's nice to get out of the mud, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. No, in this moment, fair play to you. So Richarlison, what you put on Instagram was interesting today. I personally think that's a hit back at De Zerbi, who said Richarlison many times has told me he wants to leave. So, I think the relationship is broken. I cannot see Richarlison staying. And it just felt like it was right, didn't it, for Richarlison to go back to Everton? It felt like it was a matter of time. It was a matter of when rather than if. Was it now? Was it January? Was it the summer? But Tottenham look like they're doing something in the nicest possible way that should have been done about 2 years ago, and that is move on Richarlison. And we are not a charity, and we've become a massive soft touch in recent years, which is called out, whatever you think of him, by the likes of Jose Mourinho, who said Tottenham are too soft, they're too kind, they're too nice. And a lot of things we talked about tonight, we're still being too nice. Being a little bit more brutal, don't get me wrong. Being brutal isn't always going to be liked. Look at Arsenal, they're being brutal right now with Martinelli. But if they can't sign a better winger, it's absolutely worth it. It's not nice, but being brutal. We're not a charity. We are at the moment, but we shouldn't be. Let me be clear on that. And for Richarlison, he has to go. He isn't good enough. He isn't good enough. And, I appreciate everything he's done right. And I love that he fights for the badge. So he goes with no bad feelings. I really hope he does well at Everton, hopefully. And injuries has held him back. He's been very open about his problems. I admire him in plenty of ways. But it's going, thank you so much for everything you've done, but goodbye. Shut the door and go. That's the way it has to be. But with Kevin Danso, yeah, don't let it hit you on the way out. But no, I think highly of him. But with Danso, for me, I feel strongly about that as well. Don't sell. Don't sell. Okay. He has got the foot wrong. He's very reliable. As you said, Adrian, is homegrown. And I personally believe that his Dave is starting over him. Things like that will annoy him. But as Rain rightly says, just put your arm around him. De Zerbi needs to improve this, by the way, and needs to put his arm around him and go, come on, mate, fight for your place. Because if I was a player, I'd want to fight for my place rather than go, Kevin, no pressure on you. Do whatever you like this season. I mean, players, I think, need a little bit of, come on, fight for your place. And I think Danso seems to me that type of individual that would fight for that. I love him on and off the pitch. We have to keep him. But on Richarlison, yeah, he needs to go.
Okay. I think we can safely say, we're going to talk about Ndiaye next. I'm going to come to Jack. Mikey Moore's loan to Cole. Cole will probably go ahead now, right? And he's 19, so he needs to go out there and then get a bit more experience. I love the player. I think he's the best prospect we've got, but we'll see. Right, Jack. This guy, Ndiaye. Now, I've got to be honest to all you, the 150 of you viewing this on various platforms, I've seen very little of him today until I went and got out videos, because I was expecting Gakpo to be the one that was coming in. But apparently he wants to fight for a game time at Man City. Well, fair enough. You don't want to come to us. That's fair enough. Now, last season, this on it encompasses all their appearances in senior appearances. So last season at Everton, I don't think he scored a great amount of goals, maybe 5 or something like that. Got some assists, but overall, 290 appearances, 48 goals, 50 assists. That's 63 GA in 290 appearances. I mean, 1 in 4 is good for a winger anyway. 59 million deal. He's 2-footed. He is 2-footed, and he scores with both feet. I watched this video today. I was very impressed. But did you watch it? I did post it to Rain, who got annoyed when we sent him stuff. Did post it to Harry as well, right? So, what? I mean, our fans, they have a habit of saying that every player at our club is better than ours. And then I question, well, how much have you watched these players? You know, how many 90 minutes have you seen them play? You might see them play twice when they play us in the 2 league games, right? 4 times if we freakily drew them in both domestic cups or whatever. But he's 26, good age, so his experience. He was at Sheffield United, wasn't he? And he was also at Marseille, was he? Yeah, so
Sheffield, Marseille, Boreham Wood, Hyde.
Boreham Wood, yeah.
Yeah.
Good old Boreham Wood, right?
He's had many a stint in England. And
do you like him?
Yeah, no, you sent me the video directly, and I did watch it, and like I already knew, I'm impressed by Ndiaye anyway. He's a great hold-up ball player. He's great on the ball, running down the wing, beating his man, getting round and getting those balls in. But for Everton, in the last 2 years, 65 appearances, and him being not an out-and-out forward, but as a winger / left-sided
attacking
midfielding player. 15 goals and 3 assists. And in the 2 games this year, he's got 1 assist for Everton. Now, back at Sheffield 22-23 season, 14 goals, 10 assists. Now, for Sheffield and where they were in 2023, it's a lot different to the Premier League. 100%. The Premier League is a way more intense league than French league, German league, so on and so forth, right? So it takes a fair bit of time for a player to establish themselves well in the Premier League. But I think for Ndiaye, his numbers, Premier League wise, for a winger / left forward player, they're not bad numbers. His appearances and goals and assists overall are not bad numbers. And what you got to think of it as, they're willing to pay upwards of 35 mil for Richarlison. They've agreed a principle of 60 with us. So flip it around. We paid 25 mil for a person who's in his prime years. And if we get in on a contract till 2031, again, like Marmoush, we'll have him throughout his prime years. Great fucking years to have a player of his caliber, same as Marmoush. And I think what De Zerbi does as a manager is he shows the players their own highlights, not highlights of the other team and how they play, their own highlights, and say, I know you can play like this, but I can also know you can play better. He wants to bring the confidence out of every single player. And I think he can do that with Ndiaye and get him on better numbers than what he has done with Everton, or even match him, or just maybe even slightly more. If it's better than the numbers that he's been on, then you know that De Zerbi's doing something right in the successful way of that reasoning. So, yeah, and you said a 2-footed, he can score with both feet. Obviously, again, it still lacks the quality of he's not amazing in the air, but clearly that's not where De Zerbi wants to go. He wants to go on the lines of test the keeper from outside the box, test him on the edge of the D, test him from the penalty spot. Not that we're going to ever get a penalty, because VAR fucking hate us when it comes to penalty shouts, but from that distance of penalty spot section, test him from that area. If you get in that area and you beat your man, test the keeper. Don't care where you want to test him. Like Harry Kane didn't test every keeper just from the penalty spot. He tested Arsenal's keeper from the corner flag, which everyone knows was a cross. Everyone knows that in his absolute speck of a mask that he had on. So everyone knows that. But not saying that Ndiaye is going to be that sort of player, because that's what we bought Marmoush in for. But it's the reason why we have Savio, because he done it against Charlton. Ndiaye is known for dribbling around the player with great succession to be able to get the ball.
We will have 2 of the best dribblers,
Marmoush,
or probably the 2 best dribblers in the Premier League.
Pretty much. And I have an Arsenal fan who has said if we get Ndiaye in, we have a better front three than the current Premier League champions. Now, I don't know how true that is, because they've lost Martinelli, they've lost Trossard. Well, they're going to lose Martinelli, and they've already lost Trossard. And all they really have left is a left winger of Eze, who everyone knows is an attacking midfielder. They have Noni Madueke, who can't put a cross in for his life. Everyone's watched the World Cup. And you've got Gyökeres, who's getting benched for Kai Havertz.
And Zolis, who
Zolis,
you know,
as well.
Zolis, admittedly, is coming from the Dutch league, but Zolis looks. I was talking to a lot of people at the start of the window, and we were talking about Zolis, and we were talking about Gods, who's gone to PSG. And a lot of people were saying we need to keep an eye on Zolis. Nobody who I was talking to thought that a Premier League club was going to bite the bullet and go for him. But he's a very good player.
On and die, Rain, on and die, right? Everton fans are up in arms he's being sold, but there's another angle to this because apparently he's been offered like 3 contract extensions with raises and he turned them all down. So he didn't want to be there. So I think this is a reason. And I like the fact, all right, he wasn't their first choice, Gakpo was, but he's not a bad second choice, is he?
I really like the player.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the player. I've been told he plays 10. And I'm just like, I don't believe it.
He teeters the line from a 10 to a left-hand sided player. He teeters the line most occasions for David Moyes, but I wouldn't. For me, I wouldn't prolifically put him as a 10. Same as where I wouldn't put Fernandes as a 10, but I'd put him where Tell is, and then Tell can be on the bench. Where when he comes off the bench, he's a much better player than what he is in the starting 11.
Yeah, exactly. So when I've seen him play, it's always off the left-hand side. I've gone and done my research. And for Everton, he's played right wing as well. So that's great. He can play both sides. I've mainly seen him play on the left. We desperately need somebody, to come in ahead of Tell on the left. And this is on the assumption that Savio is going to be predominantly, although he can play both sides, he's going to be competing with Kudus on the right. I think this is a good deal. I think this is fantastic. He's the right age,
especially with Richie going the other way for 35 mil.
Well, there is that as well. That's which is weird. It's weird. Yeah. It's we're getting the better end of this deal. It feels wrong. There's something going on here. There's something going on here.
It feels wrong. It's so wrong. It feels so right. We're pretty much playing. With Richarlison going the other way for 35 potentially, and him wanting to come this way for 60, we're paying 25 mil for this 26-year-old in his prime years, decent fucking left forward player. What's not to like about this deal?
Well, all these forwards we brought in, we want to see a goal, Jack, don't we?
As well, exactly. We need goals. I just need some goals. But the better thing for me about this deal is that if Vinicius Junior when he wasn't going to Arsenal, and everyone knew that. And Jai was their plan fucking B. Same as what he is for us with Gakpo not coming. He wanted to go to Man City instead. He's not getting over Semenyo. I'm not being funny. Semenyo's on fire at the moment. I don't think Gakpo's going to get in over Semenyo. But it's because they're paying more money than what we were probably willing to do is the reason why that is happening. But with Njai being Arsenal's plan B, I just think if we get in for that and then Richarlison goes the other way, Arsenal can have that right up their arse like they kept giving it to us about Eze last year. I'm not being funny, right? Your plan B has gone to plan F, which is get fucked. That's how I fucking think about it. So that's the other side of the coin that I want to teeter on, because with how many times I've been told all this stuff is like, oh, Eze chose us because you'll do this, that, and whatever. Edelman's gonna join us because he won't have that situation where he can play there because he's probably not going to get in front of Eze as a 10 spot, even as a left wing spot. And with how the way Zolis is playing in his first game and how he'll probably play tomorrow if he starts, he might not even get in front there. But I think with him not wanting to extend his contract, which is already up until 2029, so he's still got another 2-3 years on his contract. The fact he didn't want to extend it just shows that he wanted to leave in the first place. Like what most people wanted to do at Newcastle. They all wanted to leave. Gamara's to Arsenal, Tonali to us. You had Isaac wanting to leave to Liverpool, which then didn't really go well for him, so he then got injured against us. And you've had Gordon go over to Barcelona, which I thought was a weird one. It's the biggest overpay since Newcastle paid for him back at Everton as an overpay. in my opinion. But not to take anything from Greg Gordon, he played very well in the World Cup, and he is a really good player, and he will be for Barcelona 100%. I'm going completely off the line here. But
yes,
but yeah,
my
very far off the line.
Adrian, my biggest problem.
Anyway.
One second, Jack. My biggest problem with this is I've got no problem with us moving Richarlison on, although I will maintain that Richarlison, that whilst he outside of the box was completely useless, inside of the box was absolutely ruthless. And fair play to him. But we need letting Richarlison go is not a problem. The same with letting Spence go not being a problem, and in fact letting Danzo go not being a problem. They have to be replaced.
Yeah,
they have to be replaced.
And what the club have done late in the window is you've harped on about it, Rain, about the foreign quota and the difficulty as well. If you get Richarlison out, you get Ndiaye in. It helps,
and that's great. That's fantastic.
Spence is homegrown, so and if Danso was to go, you could, as a last resort, bring Dorrington in because he's homegrown. He's 21. He meets the criteria. I didn't go through all the under 21s to see if there's any more. I just wanted to find one, So just to show you fans that we have got cover for the homegrown issue, right? That's all, right? So
I don't think any of us, with the greatest of respect to him, I don't think any of us want Alfie Dorrington.
How many games have you seen him play?
Dorrington. I've seen him play quite a few, and he's not ready.
I always doubt it when fans come to me. I've seen these players play. Everybody knows I watch academy games, so it's different. But yeah, I do question some fans. I'm not saying you haven't. I'm not saying you haven't. But
there's a good reason why he has not been purchased by a Scottish club. And in the same way that Lancashire,
they ain't got no money. That's why, right?
The same, yeah. But I think if they'd offered us 2 to 5 million, then we would absolutely have snapped their hands off. Especially this year, especially this window. Looking at what Vinay said in his really, really good press release, by the way. But in a similar way that Lancashire was absolutely snapped up by a championship club for a very good reason, and that's because he excelled last season. And it's fair to say 6 goals, 5 games. I'm keeping account on Lancashire.
Well done. No, do that.
He's doing really well.
I'm going to come to you, Harry, on this because you alluded to this earlier. Then we've got comments in the chat and we'll be done, right? It's been a really good show, guys, right? Harry, you were a bit concerned about we've only got 3 matches before the 3-week international break. I'm already hating it, and it's not even here, right? So we got Forest away Saturday, right? And then the team we've had most victories against in the Premier League, Everton, we've got them at home Saturday the 12th. And then we got Villa at home Saturday the 19th. And then 2 days later, my God, a 3-week international break for the Nations League. Save me, Harry. Save me from this. Right?
Yeah. Listen, Adrian, I'm with you in terms of I don't really dislike the international break, and goodness me, it's going to really drag. But I'm telling myself that I think Spurs need it. They need that time. Well, as I say, on the train push together, but some of them aren't going to be. For those that are going to stay, for those to gel, I think that's much needed. That's reality. It can't come quicker round for us. I actually think 3 weeks will suit us as well. Time will tell, but in this moment, I'm looking at that going, Top have to get there. Because otherwise the season, because that's the thing. If you're, let's say it's 6 games we haven't won, and all of a sudden you're playing a chasing game, aren't you? Making up, and you've done all this good work, and all of a sudden it's just to make up for your poor start. So yeah, all the games you brought up there are winnable, and I feel confident going into, believe it or not. But no game is easy to state the obvious in the Premier League. I think Forest, Glasgow, they're going to be better than maybe some people originally thought this year, just going by early impressions. Of course, yes, they lost twice to Leeds, but done very well, have their own, got a point at the end at Anfield, very strong attitude, determination to stay in the game. They'll be disappointed not to come away with all 3, though. Having said that, Everton, Villa in particular, I think we can win that based on the current state of Aston Villa. They need to do so much before deadline day. I think the players they've lost. Name every good Villa player, and they've pretty much lost them. And the ones they haven't are injured. That's why they haven't. So Villa are proper talking about turnover of squad, even, like ours, even bigger than ours. But Adrian, that's the thing. We're gonna have to be patient. It's not nice. It's easy for me to say, but we all wanted this. We're going to have to wait for it to turn magic, in my view. It's not going to be boom, just like that. But I think we saw signs against Newcastle, even if they little signs that it's going to come together. So fingers crossed that it comes together quicker, but I think it's going to take a few weeks before we get a team, in De Zerbi's words.
Jack, a minimum of 6 points against these. Forest away, it's an away game. I mean, all Premier League games are hard, and but.
Well, count last season, all home games are fucking hard. I don't know. Only 3 of them. I'll put it bluntly, mate. Three home games, they're also as hard as away games.
We won 3, yeah.
Exactly. But look, we like to win against Everton. I'd like to see us win against Everton. Away to Forest will be tough, but they haven't had the greatest of starts. Losing to the same team twice, which is shock horror for them. I'm not being funny. And then the point at Anfield is good for them. And then you've got Villa. Now, I'm going to be going to the Villa game, but I'm notorious that every Villa game that I've been to, we have fucking lost.
Oh, Jack.
Right? So I don't really want to go.
We won there last year.
But no one else can go, and therefore I'm going to go. That's just the way that it is. It'll be my first game of the season. It'll be very close to my birthday, 19th as well. So it'll be nice. I'll be going. All right, I will be going. So hopefully there's a win, and I can come back onto one of your respective podcasts and say, "Ha, I'm not losing at Aston Villa anymore." But I doubt that's going to change anything. But no, minimum of 6 points. I want to hope so, because if we get Enjoy over the line and get some of the other deadwood bits out. Not to say Richarlison is deadwood. He's very clinical in the box. It's just he's not. He wants to leave, and De Zerbi said, if you stay up, I'll give you an out, and he is keeping to that promise to the highest of T's, which is what everyone wanted. Well, everyone at the club wanted. So, do I see 6 points? Yes. Do I see 2 points? Like 2 draws and a loss, most likely. I don't want to see 0 points. That's as much as I can ask for from these 3 games. I don't want to see 0 points, because then De Zerbi is then teetering the line of really being on the edge of like having a lot of pressure on his back, and he has pressure on his back now, because all of our fans are saying we've seen us spent loads. Why aren't we getting the results that we want to see after spending loads? And it is still a process, but I think everyone wants to see these things come into place now. Like, these 2 games have not been the greatest because we've been fielding players in positions they shouldn't be in. So he's still trying to teeter what he has to go with. But I think once all the pieces then come together by transfer deadline day, hopefully, fingers crossed, that's all I'm saying, then I think he'll be able to actually field a team with everyone in their respective positions. So I want to see 6 points. Obviously, I think I'd want to see 9 points out of these, but it's just very unrealistic at this moment and at this stage and moment in time. 6 points I'll be happy with. I'll even 7. If we draw one of them and win 2 of them, I'd also be happy with that. But I don't really want to see 2 points. I don't really want to see just 3 points of 3 draws or 2 losses and a win. I don't really want to see that. I'd rather see more than like 5 to 6 points on the board. And also I don't want to see 0 points like I have done the first 2 games. But like every other Spurs fan, I'm hopeful. I'm teetering the line of my patience. And my mental health, physically and mentally. But yeah, I think his plans will come into position, and I think we will definitely see, once these games then come round, De Zerbi ball coming into full position. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I can see. But at the moment in time, it's not really going to work. It may come after the Forest game. It may possibly come after that point, and it starts coming into the transition in the Everton game. But I think everyone sort of lacked the patience after last 2 seasons, and they just want to see things happening right now. And obviously I do, but it doesn't always work out the way that everyone wants it to. And yeah, I just want to see something. I just want something to be happy about. I want to put on my Spurs shirt and be happy. That's all I want as a fan of this football club. That's all I want.
Rain with one game a week in these games. I forget. I mean, I think the League Cup game's in here against Liverpool, but
it's on the
yeah,
that's on the 8th. What day is that on? The 18th.
that's the Wednesday, the 8th, is it? Yeah. Okay, and on that, I mean, we'll cover it a bit nearer. But I mean,
it was the 15th. It was the 15th. It was between Everton and Villa, isn't it? Between Everton and Villa.
Yeah, you've got Saturday the 5th of September is Everton at home. We've got Forest away Saturday the 5th of September.
That's the
Everton
16th.
It's the 12th.
It's the 16th. Yeah, it's between Everton and Villa.
Wednesday the 16th.
Yeah. And some fans have gone, well, it's Liverpool away. We're going out. Hang about. You don't know what team they're going to play.
It's not Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool.
We don't know what
and
team they're going to
Perkes and Firpong are very gettable on the wings. They're things we can look forward to. Samir Marmoush against them too.
I'm not doom and gloom. If Liverpool were flying and we're meeting them, I think, oh no, we're not going to get nothing there.
It's not Klopp's Liverpool. It's not Klopp's title.
I was there in 1973 when we drew 1-1, beat them 3-0 at the Lane, and then won the League Cup. I was at Wembley. So yeah, I mean, yeah, but on the fixtures left, Rain, I mean, I think the one thing in De Zerbi's favour, trying to get De Zerbi ball ingrained to this squad, is that he has only got, for most of the season, one game a week. Plenty of time on the train still, basically.
Yes. I mean, we don't want there to be just one game. We don't need them to throw the Liverpool game to make sure that there's only one game a week, do we? And the way that they're dealing with player sort of fitness.
Welfare,
okay. I was going to say welfare, but for me, welfare is a slightly different thing.
Okay.
It's a parochial,
generic term, anyway.
A parishional thing, as much as sort of making sure that they're physically fit. It has other context. So I'm looking at these games, and if anybody needed a reminder that the Premier League is hard, we've had it the last 2 games, right? If anybody's forgotten over the summer that the Premier League is difficult, Brentford and Newcastle should have allayed, should have put that to rest. The Premier League is a very difficult thing, right? Yeah. I cannot see us getting a point out of Forest. I think Forest, there's a good chance that Forest will roll over us. Everton at home, will the team be clicking by Everton at home? I'm not so sure, and if I'm going to bet on anybody to take advantage of any weaknesses that we've got in the way that the team is sort of interacting, it's going to be David Moyes. That guy is massively underrated in terms of how tactically astute he is. He's an absolute masterclass. And then Villa, we do better at Villa away. We do better. Villa's at home, right?
Yeah, Villa at home. Yeah,
Villa's at home, and we do generally do better at Villa away. If in my memory.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But I'm not really expecting anything this side of the international break. And I make Harry right. I think the international break, and a long one this time, which I think is fantastic, is a good thing. It's absolutely desperately needed. I don't know how many of our players are going to be able to do some drilling, but they need to be drilled.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Absolutely. Right. I'm going to put up Harry's link. I'm going to finish by going through the chat. Get over to Harry's Scarf. Great content over there. Great guests. Well-informed guests. We like to do the same here on Spurs Diehards as well. So get over to there.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm going to go through the comments and then we'll finish. If the guests want to jump in at any time, they can on the comments. There's a few of them. I mean, we've got 180 of you viewing us now, which is fantastic on a Sunday until the season started. You can see the red subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Please hit it. Subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. Yeah. You can find us Spurs Diehards on Facebook. We've got a group of 14,600 there, which has started in 2019. We've got 4,700 on XCOM. If you want to appear on a show or join our WhatsApp group, message me. I mean, you can even message Harry in WhatsApp as well. Not on WhatsApp and XCOM, because we need to be able to get your phone number to link you to the WhatsApp group. Okay. We only want mature and sensible members, right? we pride ourselves in being a mature and sensible group. We bring you fact-based, substantiated facts, actually. So yeah. So I'll go through the chat and then we'll end. Scroll back to where they're not shaded up. Oh, we've got a new member. Thank you for joining, Paul Armstrong. Thank you. We only got, for this channel, it's only been going 2 years. We've got about 16 members. I really should promote it more. Right.
That's really good.
But we've got great views.
But memberships are really difficult to get. I think that's really good.
Yeah, they sort of help. I mean, I'm not after making money out of Spurs fans, but they help, So won't play for they play 3 at back, so we get overloaded. Yeah, it's all. This is the tactical thing, isn't it? It's like De Zerbi, Rain. I mean, like he thought that the Gray Porro angle experiment would work, and it just failed miserably. It's not the first time, but he's going to have to learn from that shit, isn't he?
I don't think it didn't work. I think Porro was okay.
Yeah,
it was okay. Archie Gray is a central midfielder. We're like Jack said, we're abusing him. It's almost like youth abuse kind of thing.
I just prefer Porro.
He will be a centre back. Yeah. I just my real take is we're gonna get where we need to be quicker if everybody plays in their normal positions. And they're going to learn things quicker. That's
don't you think
even if that's still painful.
Yeah. Don't you think though that with Porro, I like him when he's running from the fullback position, because then you get him to put more crosses in. He's got the space to do what he wants to do. When he's up front and he doesn't take a man on, he's not a winger, is he? I mean, like, come on. All right, they probably did this in training, looked good. I would go with that, right? Or maybe it's just because he was limited with him players he could put on the field. So I'm going to give him grace, right?
No, exactly that. That's why he needs to be played at right back, because people underestimate the amount of sort of muscle memory and positional memory that players go through. They think they're footballers, but actually they very quickly become a fullback. And that is the position that they play. Porro crossing from the right, Robertson, revelation crossing from the left, Adrian. And if we can get people sort of bombing into the box and getting on the end of these crosses that potentially come in from those two, or Kudus, or Savio, or Ndai, the world's our oyster. We need to get there, and I think we will get there. It's just how long it takes.
Yeah.
I think was it Jack or Harry who said that actually the biggest mistake that he made, because it kind of makes sense, and the biggest mistake he made was not realizing that it wasn't working, and there it was Harry fixing it at halftime. Balogun absolutely is the player that I would have gone for.
He missed quite a few chances in that World Cup, though.
I don't read into the World Cup.
Okay, fair enough.
That's not Atletico. That's Jonathan David going to Atletico.
It's Monaco. Monaco.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I read him as for some reason Jonathan David going to Atletico, but it's not. It is Jonathan David, not Balogun, going to Atletico Madrid, because of the whole Julian Alvarez stuff. They need a striker.
He improved in the second time I went to look at him. The first time I watched David play in France, I thought, nah. And he looked better the second time I watched videos of him, but I'm still like, nah. But like, you know, if he proves me wrong, I'm in the mud again. Right. Big up Nita, regular friend of the show. David, who's now a regular friend of the show. Yeah, all the continents are playing their competitions, David told. I don't know how many players De Zerbi will have at Hotspur Way to work with. You know.
We lose a lot on AFCON, the whole front
Yeah.
three, for example.
Yeah.
It will be now, yeah. Kudos, Marmouche, who else?
And die.
And Dye will go.
Senesi will go. The Dutch contingent will go, apart from Javi, right? So Kingsky will go. We're like most elite clubs. I mean, everyone's an international, basically. Thanks, David. Yeah. Okay. Hosting Keeney again. Oh, big up. Big up, mate. You don't know him. No, I think it's a good thing that we've gone for Premier League proven. We've been burnt so much with foreign imports. I mean,
Is it a lack of creativity though, or a lack of good recruitment that we're not looking outside the Premier League though? I think is the only question. I'm not complaining at all. Just wondering.
I also think it's got to do with the foreign quota as well. I mean, I don't mind going outside the Premier League.
I see what you're saying, but unless I'm being really stupid, aren't the majority of the players we're signing from the Premier League foreign?
Yes. Most of them are non-homegrown, yeah.
But we've got 8 homegrown at the moment, unless Danso goes. And we can recruit from the under-21s like Dorrington. Might not be ideal in
the problem is from now to the end of the window, we could let homegrown players leave. We mentioned a couple already. That's the thing that I find frustrating.
Yeah, Danso could go. He's homegrown. All that time he spent at Milton Keynes and Southampton before he went to France. But yeah, I know they are annoying because we're selfish Spurs fans. That's why they're annoying. I'm a selfish, biased, obsessed Spurs fan, as everyone knows. So yeah, that helps.
I'm going to say it again for people who've not heard my take on this in the past. I don't have a problem with the AFCON. What I have a problem with is that it's not aligned with other players. So effectively, I think they should just have a like a 4-week international window where UEFA, the AFCON, CONCACAF, whatever, can organise tournaments, and that they all agree on it, and then it just lines up, and that way, all the clubs are not adversely impacted, and then they can do their thing. I guess the only problem then is that they would see that they would be competing with each other for sponsorship for those particular.
And you have in Asia, Rain, you have the issue with like the K League, the Korean League, and the J League, the Japanese League is like the reason we go out there at certain times because it's just before the monsoon season, and their seasons is different. I mean, I think their seasons start January and finish at Christmas because of that, because it's at different weather patterns over there. There's that. It's why in Scandinavian countries, their leagues finish at different times as well because of the snowing. I think they carry on after the transfer window carries on after. So there's a bit more into it when you look into it. I'm not fully up to speed with it, but it'll get done, Phil King, because Ndiaye doesn't want to play for Everton. He's turned down offers of a contract, and so they'll take Richie back, and Richie will give him goals. Who they got up front? Barry and Beppo or something? Is it? Who's up front for Everton that they've got at the moment?
Beto and Barry.
Beto. Yeah, Barry's looking better than ever, but still, they could do with Richie.
Yeah, and if he keeps them up,
he'll do well there. Though let's be clear, he's not going to flop there. He's going to do well.
Yeah,
I think he's perfect for him.
A lot of fans that I know from that sport, Everton, actually do want him back. To be fair with you,
So, and a lot. Well, it's the same as our fan base. It's a love-hate relationship with the player.
Loved in the slightest.
Yeah, but Dean don't have the money to buy Dorrington. They would have took him back. Good shout, David Toll. Yeah, right. I can. Yeah, I can see Turl Bergvall leaving this football club.
I think the point that Rain made there, I think that was taken out of context and then looked at the wrong way by that comment there.
Fans will take things out of context to suit their narrative, though. They'll always do it.
I think you replied to it anyway. But...
I missed it.
I think you replied to it earlier.
The you thing, right? King Hoddle, right? Okay,
it's taken out of context.
But this has been a fantastic transfer window. We have not been signing 20-year-olds and 21-year-olds ahead of our youth. Yeah, it has been absolutely fantastic. We have been signing people instead of, this is why I've been saying it on other streams. Going back in the past, we would sign understudies to our first team, and this transfer window, we've been signing overstudies to our first team. Ndai is a perfect example. We sign Ndai, he's going to come in ahead of Tell, who is a first team player, right? And signing that 26-year-old rather than going and signing a 20-year-old. It's actually one of the reasons why I'm a bit of a Savio skeptic, because I think he's I think he's slightly the wrong profile. But that's clearly he's going to be a fantastic player for us. But the fact that we're signing 26, 27, 28-year-olds, and the Vinay statement clearly indicates that what they, it was really good. I'm surprised, Adrian, that you haven't read it out. That was part of our profile. Part of the profile was get the 26, 27, 28-year-olds like Marmoush 27, and then there's a project to bring the young players through as they go up. Whereas before, we had a really good crop of young players, and then we were going and getting Archie Gray. You know, and when you go and spend 45 million on an 18-year-old, you're gonna play him.
Yeah, it was always my argument. If you want a pathway, and I watch a lot of academy games, and people know how much I want to see a pathway. As Rangers said, you don't bring in 18, 19-year-old and 20-year-olds, right? You have a cut-off point. Unless someone's really a generational talent like Lamar or something, or Nico Williams or something like that, then you don't buy these players. You know they're going to take a few seasons to develop, and you'll have more idea of what your own elite academy players are like. And they're all good quality players at the academy. They are in all the elite academies in this Premier League, right? So then you would have had a path, and we wouldn't have got a Gray, we wouldn't have got a Bergvall, wouldn't have got Odebert, we wouldn't have got a Tell, but we would have had a pathway. So I hope this stops. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we've agreed. Right, that's the last comment, guys. It's been a really good show and interesting. I want to thank my guests for coming on. You know who you are. Like I've said earlier, let's put Harry's banner up again. Get over to Harry's scarf. Right, you'll find me and Rain on there and Jack on there at various times when he can fit us in. You know, there's no shortage of guests. So yeah, get over to there.
Thank you for having me.
That's fine. That's fine. You're always you and Rain are regular guests, only regular Sunday guests when you're available.
It's been a fantastic show.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been very good. Yeah. And you can tell because you get the buzz that's enjoyable, right? So we try to make it fact-based and interesting. Like if it got to a waffle stage, we just end it. But the show seemed to have gone from like 1.5 hours to 2 hours recently. But I don't mind that as long as they're interesting. Yeah. And the numbers are going up as well. But to the 170 of you viewing us on various platforms or listening in, you can see the red subscribe button bottom right hand corner. Please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and leave a comment. Right, I'm going to leave Harry's link here. There's 3 more comments. What are they? Okay, 4 for 2. Yeah, I don't mean it being strict because no formations are strict with our Spurs TVs. That you know, everything changes on the field. Yeah, I'm an eye test merchant. I am, right? So, yes, we do need a pathway. Although the academies, the players we've sold, the academy must be paying for itself like twice over.
I've got to say, let's just say it, right? When we sold Lancashire, I was like, this is a good deal. This is fine. Yeah, this is, 20 million for Lancashire now. Is a good deal. But not just 6 goals. Well, I to be honest, I always thought he was going to smash it. I'll be very surprised
Mm.
if a Premier League club doesn't test Borough over the next 2 years. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get a chance, either with Borough or another Championship club or a lower Premier League club. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get a chance to show whether he can step up.
I believe we have a buyback clause on him, Rain.
And sell on.
No, sell on clause.
Is it just sell on, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
15%.
I'm not sure buyback clauses, they're very rare. Really rare that they actually take place. But the problem I've got with selling Lancashire is it's the old thing. We may as well have kept Lancashire. Now we're selling Richarlison. I wouldn't be so concerned about the fact that we need to go and replace that number 9 spot in the squad, because Lancashire could just step up as third choice behind Solanke, Marmoush. Lancashire, he would have got minutes and it would have worked. But now we need to fill that squad slot.
Yeah. Well, we're going to end it there. Right. I'll leave Harry's link up. Get over there. You'll find me and Rain and Jack on there at some time in the future. With that, I just want to thank you all for the support we get on this channel. It's much appreciated. And if you, like I said earlier, if you can hit the subscribe button, give the video a thumbs up.
Doesn't cost anything.
Doesn't cost anything. Yeah. I mean, like Friday's show, there was 800 odd people. If you go on YouTube, you see viewers and all that. So it's really jumped now the season started, which is good because like these guests, they make the show and like we get the viewers. And if the show's good and the content's good, I'm sure you will subscribe. Yeah. Well, I hope you will and not be lazy. Right. So I'm going to thank my guests once again. I'm going to play this little bit long piece of music I wrote. I want to vary the outro music as much as I can, but see if you like this.
We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue. We are Tottenham till we die. We are Tottenham till we die. Spurs die, hearts, heart and soul. Lily white and navy blue.